Yes, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It's been a long time. I think it's been about 10 days since we did a live. So welcome back. Hope you're all well. I wanted to have a lot to talk about, and I'm not sure we have, to be brutally honest with you. I've waited and I've waited and I've waited. I've seen Spurs play some meaningless pre-season friendlies, which everyone loses their mind about. Insert name of young player, which is now flavour of the month because of said pre-season game. I don't care about all that. For me, pre-season is exactly what it's there for. It's for fitness. It's to work with the players, and it's to get ready for the season. But look, where are we? Where are we? We're no further forward, are we? I mean, it's been nearly a month now since Tonali and Fernandes, and brilliant, great, and the hype, and we've broken our record twice. Well done, the owners. They're moving differently. This is change. ENIC 2.0. Yeah, great. And now it all seems to have stalled, doesn't it? Massively. Like at the moment, I think a lot of people that I'm seeing are saying, okay, but we can't go into the season with these forwards. Like we cannot go into the season with Solanke, Richarlison, Moore, Tell, and Solomon. They're just not good enough. They're not. Whether you rate one of them or what, as a collective, this is just not good enough. So what's happening? I don't know, by the way. I don't know what the answer is. I was told it was KROUPI. People assured me it was KROUPI. And now we're hearing that it was never going to happen, and that that KROUPI is out for 3 to 4 months is the breaking news tonight. He's out for 3 to 4 months. So he's going to miss the first 3 months of the season. So you're probably not getting him back right till November time, and then to build up fitness. So KROUPI is not happening. I think even Spurs aren't going to buy an injured player. He's not going to pass a medical. So you look at a question. What are Spurs doing with their forwards? I asked this a month ago. I was assured by all the people that had done a 180 and suddenly ENIC were amazing. I was assured there was a plan. And I'm looking going, where's our forwards? Where are these forward players? Because I'll say it. This forward line isn't doing anything. This forward line today, I thought, was utterly toothless again. I mean, I don't really judge on pre-season games, but I think it's been utterly toothless throughout pre-season. It was utterly toothless throughout all of last season, other than Kudus before he got his long-term injury. Kudus hasn't kicked a ball pre-season, has he? Kudus hasn't kicked a ball. James Maddison, our creative spark, has not kicked a ball yet. Kulusevski's not back. Xavi Simons is still out. I'm not saying per se I'm worried, but for me to, and again, this is only me personally, for me to look forward to the season, I need to see that we've done something different. And at the moment, we look utterly toothless in attack. Great goal today. Great free kick from Tell. I'll just put this out there right now. I see everyone going mad. I think when I've seen Tell doing his best work, it's from dead balls. I think his strike versus Leeds, the ball was killed stone dead. The dead ball situation today. As a winger, I don't see anything in him. I'll be honest. I'll say it. This will annoy people. Mikey Moore, I don't know what Mikey Moore does. I keep being told by everyone that he's the one. I keep watching him for Rangers and now for Spurs, and I'm going, I don't know what the hype is. All I know is that Spurs need forwards. I think we need a left winger, a right winger, and a striker as a bare minimum. I genuinely don't see this team doing anything with these forwards. Nothing's changed my mind so far this summer. I think we've got, obviously, a much better central midfield pairing once Fernandes and Tonali get fit. I think we're going to be absolutely fine at the back. But going forwards, I genuinely think we are awful. And 24 days to go till the season starts. And I don't want to be that scaremongery type person, but it seems like we're doing it again, right? It seems like we're leaving it very late. It seems like there's no plan. People keep telling me there's a plan, but each week there's a different excuse. You know, this week it's we need to get rid of the likes of Bergvall and Sarr first. The week before that, it was, we're waiting for Man City to let Savio go. Then it's all, well, if Liverpool get Barcola, we might get Gakpo. What about having our own destiny in our own hands? That and at the moment, I want to see this. I just can't see it. We're not, as far as we're aware, we're not in talks with anyone. Like I get it. I get it. You don't always know everything. Of course. But like, I've seen no reports of any major news that Tottenham are in talks or have bid for. And we're on pre-season tour. We've played 3 games so far this summer. And I don't know, people. I don't know. For me, yeah, I would absolutely be looking at someone like Marcus Rashford. I would absolutely be looking at someone like that. 10 times what we've got up front or on the left wing. I would absolutely be looking at someone like that. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand what Tottenham are doing right now. It's okay to say, look at the window we've had, but so far that window won't mean anything if we don't sort out the forward areas. And I'm not saying we're not going to. I'm not saying that, people. I know that people like to dramatize what's been said. I'm not saying that, but I just cannot believe it's not being addressed. I'm not saying all 3. I'm not saying we should have had 3 forwards in by now, but we haven't even got 1 in. And we were assured it was going to be Savio, and it was going to be Gakpo, and it was going to be Rafa Leao, and it was going to be Somerville, and it was going to be Junior KROUPI. So far, Somerville's gone to Saudi. Rafa Leao's gone to Turkey. Junior KROUPI is out injured for 3 to 4 months. Savio, for some reason, for the 3rd window in a row, we can't seem to get the deal done. And that's fine. People are telling me, oh, it's not Spurs. It's not Spurs. It's City. Fine, but then surely you move on, right? Like, surely there's a world of footballers. I keep hearing that the market's dry. That's a load of nonsense. There are players all over the world, right? The difference is we've not scouted any of them, right? The difference is we have not scouted any of them. Every player we have gone for so far this window is Premier League based, right? And no, we're not. By the way, you told me 4 weeks ago that within 2 weeks, Spurs would have their 3 forwards. So no. It's not about fans wanting it now. We hear this every window from the ENIC defenders, every window. Now, I don't want it now. We needed these forwards 3 years ago. We're now 6, 7 windows down the line. This isn't about now, right? This isn't now. We needed them years ago. But yet this is another window where so far we seem to have neglected that area. Now, my own personal opinion, and again, it is purely an opinion, is I don't think they know who they want because I don't think they've scouted. I think they put all their eggs in the Savio and KROUPI basket, and now I don't think they know where to go. I don't think, purely my opinion, I have no basis, but only from what I've seen. We are in that territory again where when people like Phil Coys say, oh, now, I hate to break it to people, but the season starts in just over 3 weeks. Like, What do you mean now? The season starts in just over 3 weeks, and we're going in with the same poor forwards we've had for the last 3 or 4 years. So for me, I would have liked to have seen at least 1 or 2 of them on pre-season tour, and none of them are going to be seen on tour, are they? By the time Spurs get any deals done now, none of these forwards will have been on pre-season tour. So, where am I at? I'm at, done brilliantly in midfield. I think we've done very well at the back, but this was a massive window, and we've got 3 weeks till the season starts. And I think we need them in. I think we all know what's going to happen. I think we kind of know what's going to happen, right? I think we kind of know what's going to happen. I think that Spurs will... I do think we'll get Savio. I think we'll have to wait for Man City to decide that they're ready to sell, and then I think we get Savio. That's fine. Got no problem with Savio. But up front, I have no idea where we go now. We've got one right winger, right? Kudus. When's he going to be fit? Is he going to be fit enough for the season? He's not going to be match fit, is he? Like, he's playing no minutes. So at the moment, you've got to remember, when people say things like, as long as it's done before the window shuts, there are games between the season starting and the window shutting. Those games can lose points, right? So I just feel that I'm in a bit of a, I don't know, I'm in a bit of a quandary with myself, if you will. I'm in a bit of a, I'm not sure how I feel. But there's a man. Look at this. Is this your garden?
It is, mate. Yeah.
Lovely. Look at James Flower looking all nice and tanned, and the little little egg barbecue. Are they called the eggs? Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm very well, mate. How are you? Long time.
Yeah, mate. I don't think I've streamed for about 2 weeks. I wanted to wait and stream until something had happened, right? But it has all gone a little bit. I say a little bit. It's gone really quiet, hasn't it, on the transfer front? It's gone really quiet, James. What's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think with the transfer market, one thing's for sure is we do need more, right? Without sounding ungrateful, we've got some fantastic players in, but my God, we need more.
I don't think it is ungrateful, mate. Listen, I don't think it's ungrateful at all. This is years and years of them not building properly. They've had the scare of their lives, and now this window, I think we all knew this was going to be a huge window. And let's be fair, I said this earlier to Lubo, and I think me and him had a disagreement on this, but I said, yeah, the Tonali and Fernandes deals and smashing the transfer record twice was great. But at the moment, for me, what that looks like, and again, I'm happy to pivot my opinion as the window goes on. But what that looks like, in my humble opinion, is that was more of a, let's shut them up at the beginning of the window. Let's shut them up and show, hey, we do mean business. And all of a sudden, everyone went, oh my God, it's all changed. Everything's amazing and different. Since then, I've not seen any momentum, and it's kind of fizzled out a bit. Dare I say it?
Yeah. I agree to an extent. I think it could be a little harsh on the board because for what I've seen anyway is Savio is pretty much done. Tottenham want him. They've made the offer and they're kind of waiting to sort of find a replacement. So that could be a little harsh in the respect of he could already be done for all we know, right? It could already be signed, sealed, delivered. And then if we bring someone like that in, for me, it leaves one major player that we need in the front line, and then I would be happy. So I think, I think it's hard to say, but as of right now, it's not enough. And I'm one of those that would rather have all my players in the first week and then nothing for the rest of the window, so we kind of can progress through the pre-season. Everyone learns what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and then before the season starts, you're off and running.
Yeah, look, and I think the thing is, I've said this all the way along, right? I said, I think that everyone's over-egged this transfer window and the change and ENIC 2.0 and all this talk purely because this is the first time that Spurs have acted normally. Like, these are the windows Spurs should have been having. So because they've given us 2 players, let's be fair, right, James? Let's be really fair. Tottenham Hotspur should be able to buy Fernandes from West Ham. We should be able to get a Tonali from Newcastle. We should be getting Van Hecke from Brighton. So whilst they're great signings, and I'm not knocking Spurs for it, I'm not going to go overboard like others do with, oh my God, everything's different, everything's changed. This is how we should have been acting, James. So now my expectation is, you've seen how poor we are in the forward areas. What are we doing? And at the moment, the answers aren't stacking up.
No, yeah, I agree. No, I completely agree. And that is where the only benefit of that I'll say is with the Savio thing. But other than that, there's cuts so much deeper, because it's worrying to see that the likes of Kudus hasn't travelled. Why hasn't he travelled? That's some concern for me. If Kudus hasn't travelled because he's injured, then you need 3, not 2. So it's quite important. And I think what it has done this pre-season, is it's just highlighted even more that I personally feel like we've done okay at the back. We've done okay from goalkeeping. I've been quite impressed with Kingsley, with how comfortable he is. The defenders, some of the young defenders, quite impressed. Midfielders have done well. And then it gets to the front line and everything breaks down. Like, everything breaks down. So for me, it's almost highlighted all the problems at the club, as well as to all the fans that maybe thought, no, we don't really need him, or we only need one because Tell will do a job, or this is going to be Solanke's best year, or Richarlison will hit form under this manager. I think, again, it's just highlighted that people can have those opinions, but they're not true, because it doesn't matter who their manager is, they're just not good enough.
No. And by the way, Fabrizio Romano has just broke that Al Hilal are in talks to sign Iliman and Dai from Everton. So just anyone that wanted him as a left winger option, there's another one off the market, right? Like, I hear a lot, James, that the market's dry. I don't believe that at all. I see players moving all over that have been scouted. I think the reason the market is dry for Tottenham is, if you look at every player so far, mate, Dubravka from the Premier League, Senesi, Premier League, Van Hecke, Premier League, Robertson, Premier League, Tonali, Fernandes, they're all from the Premier League. And I think if you limit yourself to one league, you are going to be panicking. And it seemed very much like all summer we've talked about Savio and Junior KROUPI. I just think that we're missing lots and lots of these good players that are playing in the French league, the German league, the Spanish league. Again, just a personal opinion, but I just think that we don't know how to scout. Because you're not scouting Tonali. You don't. Do you know what I mean? That's not a scout, is it? Scouting Tonali, everyone knows him, but I don't think we've got scouts. I don't think we're good at it.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I also think, just sort of adding to that, if you like, is I believe our fans don't want us to scout players either. They don't allow that. Their thing is, we need pre-improvement, or we need this or this. There's no scouting allowed. For me, I mean, we had a little conversation the other day. I wanted Adeyemi. Everyone goes, he's done nothing. He's just a pace merchant. He's got nothing to him. You've never seen him play then to say that. Like the guy, I think it was in the Champions League, an outside of the foot goal against Chelsea. It was almost like a Roberto Carlos-esque curling outside the post, inside the post. It's for someone that has no technique, no talent. It's like, if you've seen these guys, you know that there's talent out there. You're just choosing not to. Or what happens is, you see Yildiz will be linked with Real Madrid. All the Spurs fans now know Yildiz because he's been linked with Real Madrid. If we was to be linked with, I like the guy from Bodo, the centre midfielder. Berg. Is it Berg? If you would have said we're signing him, everyone would have gone, "No, he's crap. He's not worth it."
He's only in Norway.
Yeah. But if 3 months beforehand Barcelona tried to sign him and then fouled, and then we would have gone in for him, he would have been the next best thing. So for me, I do feel like the club don't know how to scout, but I also feel like the fans are scared to accept the scouting as well.
Yeah, look, listen, when I say scouting, by the way, I'm not just saying, like, 18, 19-year-olds. I'm just saying there are players all over Europe. There are players all over world football. And I'm sitting here right now going, I really want to be excited for the first game of the season. I do, James. I promise you, I do. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tonali and Fernandes link up. I'm looking forward to seeing Senesi and Van Hecke. But knowing that the front three at the moment is going to be Tell, Solanke, and Solomon, I don't know. It pours damp. It just makes the whole thing like watered down for me. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I'm not saying we'll start the season with that, but where do we go from here? Who do you think they're talking to? Aside from Savio, who are we talking to?
Yeah, I don't know, because we've only really heard 2 or 3 names the whole window, which is Savio, KROUPI. So I don't know. I think that is the main concern for me, is that I genuinely have no idea who they're looking at or who they're going to go for. But it has, like you were saying earlier, it has completely gone dead, and that's what I'm not too happy with. The fact that we're not being linked with anybody, and the chance of us getting no one is a big fear for me, because I don't see where we were having a conversation earlier, right? And people were saying if Tell gets 13 GA this season, he's had a good season. For me, that's diabolical. For a team that they're talking about finishing the top 6, top 7, top 8, 13 GA as an attacking winger in a team that isn't good enough. So if that's where we think he's going to get, the levels have dropped so dramatic that that's now where we're accepting. We cannot go into a season relying on that. We can't. I mean, for me, if I'm being honest, I think Tell and Solomon have probably been our better 2 players out of the front line. Anyone would have said to me what I thought of them last season. It's the same as now, but the fact that those 2 are looking like the better attackers, that's what's worrying for me.
Yeah, I mean, I heard someone today say, Tell and Solomon being our best attackers. I was like, yeah, because there are only attackers there. I mean, Richarlison, listen, it doesn't matter whether it's pre-season, Champions League, Premier League. No one's ever going to convince me this guy's a good footballer. He grabs the odd goal. People go mad about him, but he is not a good player. And I genuinely don't know. And listen, I'm hoping, like you are, James, I know you're hoping this. I know I am. I know everyone in the chat is probably hoping that we wake up and we see the story tomorrow, like Spurs in talks with, and we all go, oh, God, didn't see that coming. But the worrying thing is that the days are ticking on, right? Like, this started as a joke. I started this in a WhatsApp. I'm not in WhatsApp groups anymore, but I started this in a WhatsApp group a while ago, and I was like, 60 days till the season starts to get forwards. Now I'm down to 24, and I'm like, 3 weeks till the season starts. I'm like, Mohamed Kudus hasn't kicked a ball. He's our only right winger, right? James Maddison, Simmons, and Kulu. Not one of them. I know Simmons is out for. Not one of them has kicked a ball. They're our only creative players. We've got no new striker, no new left winger. And I don't know, for me, it's just starting to take away a little bit of the shine. And I don't want that to sound negative. I don't. But
yeah,
I am a little bit concerned. Let me say that.
Yeah. I also think that the longer we leave it, the more we have to rely on Prem proven to come in and hit the ground running. So if we was to get somebody now, for example, you've given them 3-4 weeks to come in, learn De Zerbi's philosophy, Premier League, get some crunching challenges in, realise the intensity of the training. If we leave it till we start coming back and you've got a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, you're then having to look at the Premier League for who can drop straight in and play.
Let me ask you, before I bring him down, actually, I don't think he likes him, but I've just remembered. For me, I feel like this is all pointing to a Marcus Rashford. For me,
I'd love that.
Because I can't see where we're going. If we're going inside the Premier League now, realistically, what options are there left? I'm looking around. I can't see. Yeah. I can't see what the options are in the Premier League right now for forwards.
He might not be any spills, frills, but for me, if he was to come in, I would kind of be like, right, he's going to get you 20 GA. Like that's how I would say. I'd be like, regardless, it's 20 GA. And I think I think that is where, when I was calling Son out, people were going, "Ah, you asked for this. You look." He guaranteed you 20 GA for me, Son. But that doesn't mean he's good enough to carry on where we want to be. And that is where I would put Rashford. I think Rashford is good enough. But for me, he's one of those players that guarantees you 20, 23 GA every season, week in, week out, will always do a job.
I agree. I mean, Dan, welcome, mate.
You're all right.
Well, yeah, good. Yeah, I feel like we've all gone into that really excited stage, then mellowed out, and now I feel like it's back into that what the F is going on stage. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? Started off really well.
Yeah.
And couldn't have really asked for much better with one of the midfielders anyway. The other, I can't rate him, don't know much about him. But it started off well, defence, everything. You're like, okay, we're going somewhere. And then usual Spurs in this aspect, it sort of all of a sudden just comes to a standstill. Like literally stops. And we desperately need to get something up front. Rashford, I don't like the fella at all, the way he comes across. I don't think he's the best sort of player to have in your team. But we need someone who can score goals, and that's what he can do. Very patchy player, I find. Same as Leo, but he's now gone Turkey, isn't he? Yeah. We need someone who can score goals, and Rashford can do it. So I would take him at Spurs, especially over who we got. I mean, everyone seems to think that Tell's our main man now. It's either way, each their own. We need at least one forward. We need at least one that can score goals up there. I know we need a whole free set up there, but we need at least one significant who can put it in.
Do you know
and we haven't got that.
I was just thinking, like, and again, it's the, when you just feel like you should slap yourself for allowing yourself to think something, you know that sort of feeling, right? When we got the Tonali and the Fernandes deal, and we had Senesi and Van Ecker a few weeks before, I'm sitting there thinking, Spurs are going to go into the first game. We're going to go in set. We're going to go. These players, they're all going on pre-season. We're getting in free forwards. And then slowly but surely, it's just like, no, stop, no. And I just don't want that the first 3, 4, 5 games of the season, we're so unprepared that we lose the points and we go, what if? Again, Joe, that's where I'm at with it, right? Like,
yeah.
I just thought we might go in prepared, and it feels like we're not going to be again.
Yeah. No, I look, for me, whether we sign them now or at the end of the week, it makes no difference to me. They need to be here at the training ground for when the team come back from their tour. That for me is a must, because then it gives them 2-3 solid weeks, day in, day out, of actually playing football the De Zerbi way. And one of the positive things I will say is I have seen a completely different change in the style of football that we're playing. Whether the players are good enough, that's a completely different conversation. But we are knocking it around first touch now. I know that the level of opponents ain't as good, but you can start to see the ticking of the passing, the moves, the passing, the fullbacks getting forward. So there's that I do like, but you can't. Again, this is what makes me worry about if we're not going to bring a Prem proven guy in. The later and later you leave it. I mean, look at the likes of Wirtz, Ekatike. They all take time, right? And they're good players. So I worry that if we get someone in any later, doesn't matter whether they're good players or not, come Christmas they're going to be hounded by our fans for not hitting the ground running and having no pre-season.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, look, there are people, Dan, that like some of our forwards. Like, Richie's got his little group of people that like him. Tell's got this fan base of people that think he's going to be the guy. There's lots of people that rate Mikey Moore, for example. Are we being too harsh on some of these players? Could we see a front three from what we've got that's good enough to get us back into Europe, or is this just completely wishful thinking?
Is that an honest question, or is that just to get a random answer?
Mate, listen, I'm trying to...
don't you?
You're not bad at this YouTuber, like, yeah, you're all right.
Listen, if I say what I actually want to say, Dan, you know how upset people would be. I don't rate any of the forwards.
No, nor do
I. I don't rate any of the forwards. As I said, today, Tell, really good goal from a set piece. From open play, I don't see anything from him. I can now extend that to Solomon. I can extend that to Richie. I can extend that to Mikey Moore. I don't think that front four would get you out the championship. There you go. I'll say it.
It's not a good front line, not at all. I mean, if you go and put it up front, Kudus probably is our most gifted player up there, but you're going to be lucky if you see 10 goals out of him in a season. He's not a goal scorer. That's not how he's been. And up front, you're lucky if you see 8 or 9 out of Richie or Solanke by the look of it. And on the left, where have we got any proof that any of them score regular goals? Okay, I only watched the after game as such for about 10 minutes of it. See Tells go and whatever. Yeah, good free kick and that. But sorry, mate, you're on the side. We need you to also cross that ball in there. We need you to direct the ball in there. We need you to actually score from there, at least double figures as well. I don't see that. He has done nothing as yet to prove that he can do that. People can talk about potential all they want, but aren't we half, maybe half is going a bit too harsh, but aren't we half in this situation through going on potential and not quality proven? Aren't we half in this situation because we've looked at young players who can come good? Give them time. Give them time. Yeah, we've given 2-3 years and we've nearly been relegated twice. Okay, nearly been relegated once, but 17th twice. We need the established players. And that is not what it is up front on the left. Striker-wise, you can say they're established players, but they're established at being bang average, and that's being nice. And on the right, apart from Kudus, we don't have any cover either.
Yeah, it's a worry, right? But why, lads? Why are we so bad at buying forwards? And let me just give you some information, right? Who would you say is the last top class forward, whether it's a winger or a striker that we signed? The last top class forward.
Well, I would put, personally, for me, I would put Kudus in there because I like him. I think he's a top class forward. I think when he's fit, if he was in a team that was half decent, he already last season, correct me if I'm wrong, he already was most of the chances created. I think his GA was right near the top of the league. If he had another player on the other side taking a bit of the pressure off, I think you would have seen an even better player for me. So I personally would say Kudus. But before that,
over tenure, like over 3 or 4 months of Kudus, over tenure, the last 10, 15 years, who's the last top class forward we signed?
Does Bale count on loan?
No, I'm not having that. No.
it's probably for how he ended up, Son. But when we got Son as well, you can't tell me he was an established player that we bought because we knew he was going to be quality. That was another one that had done good in his league and we hoped would progress. We haven't bought an established, known goal scorer for God knows how long.
Well, this was my point, Dan, right? If we look at Son, so we signed Son in 2013, 14. Somebody will tell me the exact date.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right? And since then, I'm just racking my brain for forwards that we've signed, right? So if we look at the strikers, we've signed Vinicius Jr. I wish it was Vinicius Jr. We've signed Carlos Vinicius. We've signed Vincent Janssen. We've signed Solanke, Richarlison. If you then look at wingers that we've signed in that time, we've signed Brennan Johnson. We've signed Tell. We've signed Odebert. We've signed Danjuma. We've signed Bergwijn. We've signed Yang. And the point I'm getting at, Marcus Llorente was signed in that time. During all of this time, not one of them you could look back and go, what a really good spell they had at Tottenham Hotspur, can you? None of them, other than Son. Since Son, not one of them.
No.
And Kudu, and G, to add to the list. Bergwijn, like, why are we so bad at signing players in the forward areas?
I think probably the closest thing we've actually signed who had a bit of a name for himself, but again, that was sort of like a bit of up and coming, was Kulusevski. I think he's the last one we actually signed up front who actually had a bit of a European name for himself. And I can't really think of anyone else with it, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it's a bit poor, really, isn't it?
This is part of the reason why I called out the Don, as people call him. A lot of people gave him so much credit, Paratici, for how good he was. The level of players like he was naming there that he just brought in have been poor after poor after poor after poor.
Great.
Same with Lange, same with everybody at the club. There is no one that can take any credit for anything, barring the last 2 years, if you like. To be honest, with the Xavis, the Kuduses, the Tonales, Fernandezes, they're the only guys that could take credit for anything. But I think, like what you kind of said earlier, I think this club has been so deprived for so long that we're now talking of 2 new centre-backs, a new left-back, 2 new midfielders, and we're still saying we need 3 new attackers on top of that, because that's how bad we have been, just absolutely teetotal, to be honest. I mean, and half of our fan base, unfortunately, are to blame. We're now saying we don't want the likes of Adeyemi, Rashfords, Savios. We don't want those guys anymore. Like, what are we basing that on? Because a lot of the things people say is,
this is where you and I agree, right? Like the number of names I've heard over the last 2, 3, 4 years where we're going, I wouldn't have him. Nah, he wouldn't get in us. And I'm like, are you seeing what we've got in our team? Like, are you kidding me? Like,
do you think? Do you think that getting someone like? Do you think that getting someone like Tonali in, big, massive, established player, has almost put our hopes up too high all of a sudden? Because it definitely did it with me. I mean, I was saying before the start of all this at the end of last season that I think if we're going to be honest, we're going to maybe have to step down a peg or two and accept some players that a lot of us wouldn't usually accept, because we want to build ourselves up again. And if we finish 10th place, no one's got nothing to complain about over the past 2 seasons. Build it up to 8th, 5th, and go on from there. But where we basically went in all guns blazing, which I've got no problem with, and no one was expecting that either. I mean, no one can tell me they was expecting it to do it like we did. All of a sudden, everyone's hopes have gone from there to there. Everyone's expectations of what sort of player we got have all of a sudden gone from there to there. All of a sudden, we know we've had money anyway, but they've showed that they're willing to spend on the money now. We're expecting that now, basically.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, but I would say, sorry, Savva. So I would say the only thing I would say is, I think it's the people that have no football knowledge and that think that we're going to go out and sign Yameen Mouse that are the ones that have that massive opinion. So for me, when Robertson come in, I was over the moon. I think he is a 7 out of 10. Every single week, he's going to do exactly what you ask him to do. Today, he come on, did half an hour of football. Everyone's going, Corey's still got legs. Corey's actually a good player. And you think, one bad season for a team that are in transition doesn't mean that he's a terrible player. So the moment we do sign one of them, everyone's on his back. So for me, I think it's the fans that are not prepared to sort of take a couple of players that are slightly above before hitting. Look, Tonali and Fernandez for me are 2 of the best that we could have signed. I don't think you're going to be able to sign an 11 of them because we ain't Man City, right? So you're going to have to get a 2. Vanessi's in, Robertson's in. It may be like a Rashford, someone like that. That ain't the name that everyone's thinking of, but are going to take us up a level. Once you go to that level and you finish top 6, whatever, yeah, right, let's rebuild again. Now we're building from a place of strength, not a place of 17th after 2 seasons. So that's for me how I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Dan, I think it's an interesting question. For me, I think it all comes back to, from just me personally, what I said at the beginning. So many have lost their minds over like Tonali and Fernandez, but these are the signings where a top 6 club should be making, right? And it's only because we don't make those signings and haven't for years that we all go, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I'll give you an example. So earlier in the summer, having a conversation, and somebody said, oh God, Tonali, this is like a wow signing. And I said, no, it's not. I said, for me, it's a great sign. It's not a wow signing. Wow was Jurgen Klinsmann, right? When Jurgen Klinsmann joined Tottenham Hotspur as one of the greatest strikers in the world, we all went, bloody hell, Jurgen. Rafa van der Vaart was a wow signing. Bit fortunate, last day offer, but for me, the Tonales, the Fernandezes, the Senessis, the Van Heckers, this is what Tottenham Hotspur should have been buying for the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years. And we wouldn't be in this position we're in now of finishing 17th because we'd have proper footballers. So I'm seeing people in the chat right now going, we should be grateful. No, we shouldn't be grateful. This is their job, right? This is their job as owners of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. They should be buying these players. But still, I'm sure you've been watching, but we've just been talking about this. I know you feel the same. Maybe not, we won't arrive in the same journey, but I think we've got the same destination. That a lot of this doesn't really mean anything with the forward line that we've got in play, right? Like it's worrying from my point of view that we still have not bought forwards.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've done it back to front. There's no wrong or right, but I think we've done it back to front. By the way, hello, everyone. Good to be on the show. Hello, everyone in the chat. I think we've done it back to front because we've signed an attacking manager, right? We've signed a manager that likes to play football the way we want to see it. When Jurgen Klopp went to Liverpool, he built an attacking football team that just fell short. The last thing he did was fix the defence. He signed Alisson and Van Dijk. That was the last thing he did. We've done it the other way around. We've fixed the defence, tried to fix the midfield, and we've left the attack vulnerable. I don't know if you've seen, but the news has just come out. KROUPI's out for 4 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So,
if we'd have got that job done earlier, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Or was he actually already injured for an operation?
No, he's got injured playing for Bournemouth. But
okay,
I thought.
Do you think it was ever on still? I don't think that the KROUPI deal was ever going to happen with. But Bournemouth are not. Bournemouth don't need the cash. They're in Europe for the first time. They've got rich owners. I just never thought it was going to be a deal we could get done. Just me personally.
When does Zerbi? I don't know. With all these transfers, I don't believe anything until the player signs for us.
Sure.
Maybe we asked, we inquired, interest in discussion, all those buzzwords. I agreed with James last season where he said this is the worst front three I've ever seen. It's a championship front three. When De Zerbi came in for like 7 games, he kept us up. Defending wasn't the problem. Like defensively, we looked better. In midfield, okay, we weren't great, but we looked, at least there was some kind of work ethic there. But up front, we were still dog shit under De Zerbi. It was Paulinho that was pulling us out of trouble, or random goals from whoever.
Yeah.
I personally, this summer, would have fixed the front three first, then said, right, let's work backwards. Spurs have done what they've done. Again, I've watched all the preseason games. I've done watch-alongs, and I see the same thing. Good possession, creating, good down the flanks, not so much down the middle because we haven't got a proper 10. But against weak opposition, we look good in possession, good playing out from the back, lots of creativity, lots of shots, but we are awful up front. And this is against weak opposition. Weak opposition. So what's going to happen when we play good teams? We'll probably still have good possession. Might not look as great coming out from the back because we're playing better teams, but we're going to try. Up front, I think Tottenham is shocking right now. And I don't buy into this narrative that, De Zerbi can get a tune out of Solanke. De Zerbi can get a tune out of Tell. De Zerbi can get a tune out of Richie. De Zerbi can get I don't buy it.
Yeah, but how many times have we heard that still when it comes to players that we should have had rid of or shouldn't really have? And people have said, yeah, but this manager gets something out of them. We've heard that many a time. I think what Spurs done was do it the easy way as such, and that was build yourself out from defence to midfield. It's the easier way to do it in the aspect of there's plenty of defenders out there to go and get, very good ones at that. There's very good midfielders out there, plenty on the market. When you start going up to goal scorers up front, a striker, for instance, very much so, now you're in the situation where you're in the hardest part of the market, basically. Maybe we should have gone for that first. maybe we wanted to get the others established because we knew we could get them done quicker. That would make sense. I just think we did it the easy way first, and now we're in the hard part. It's looking like they don't actually know what to do with themselves.
But you know
should
what,
have done
Dan?
the hard part first then. Do the hard
But
bit
it
first.
shouldn't, guys, should it really, like, it shouldn't matter what's done when. If you've got your plan of which area, it should all happen whenever, right? Like, I just want to say, so I'm not on X, right? But all I get sent is these posts from Paul O'Keefe and is it SZY? Is it this? I don't know his name.
No,
I don't.
Fuck knows.
Do you all know who I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's James's burner account.
It's James. Okay. So James is the ITK. Okay.
On the
So-
ITK.
I've just been sent a screenshot. They're having a chat where people are going, right, Paul, what are Spurs doing now that KROUPI's out? And they're all chucking names at him going, what about this player? And SZY has come in and said, Igor Thiago and Ollie Watkins are two players that are on the list. So they're on Spurs' list. Now, we'll talk about those two as individuals in a minute. But what's annoyed me is if we've got a list of forwards that we want, what have we been waiting for exactly? That's what I can't understand. If there's a list, what were we waiting for? All our eggs in the KROUPI basket, even though KROUPI's made 21 Premier League starts in his career. I don't get it, guys. I just don't get it.
So I think Savio's done, to be honest. I think that I personally think that's done, signed and sealed. I think we're waiting for City to do whatever and release him.
Agreed.
Especially now as he's kind of said, I want to go to Tottenham, or we're reading, I want to go to Tottenham. Him and Simmons are like best mates. It just kind of feels too much. If 2 + 2 is 4, it's 4, right? That's the vibe I'm getting. So I think Savio's done. We're almost waiting on City. Striker, I have no idea, to be honest. I mean, I would take both of those. The only thing I'd say about Igor is I feel like he's good, but he's only good at one thing for me.
Savio not an established goal scorer, though, is he, James?
No, but I don't think he needs to be. This is my argument for Savio. A lot of people don't
Then
want
where do we
Savio.
get the goals from? But that's what we're saying.
Well,
We need someone to score goals.
I think we need to invest in a striker that they're going to be putting balls in the box for. And say, for example, I think Savio could get 8 to 10 goals. Kudus could get 8 to 10. Madison 8 to 10. Xavi 8 to 10. If we signed on Ollie Watkins, I think he could get 15 or whatever it is. Like, this is my philosophy, my theory. I think if you signed a Savio, you free up so much more space on the other wing for Kudus. He ain't going to be able to be doubled, triple man marked.
Right.
And if he is, Savio's a good enough player to have 1-on-1. If you leave him 1-on-1, regardless of stats, figures, goals, and assists, he burns his man 9 out of 10 times for me. So by doing that, he's going to be creating loads of free space in the midfield and in the box. So my opinion is I would love to have Savio and Kudus just purely because I believe that they'd stretch that pitch. Then it allows your Xavis, your Madisons, your Kulus, or whoever you're going to have in the middle to dictate the play.
But James, we created that space today. We just couldn't score a goal. We're really bad at shooting. This is the problem. People said to me, we'll create more under De Zerbi. What I'm seeing is we're creating more, but we're missing more. That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, say today, for example, today's game, good example. Solomon cut 2 lovely balls back to Conor Gallagher and he missed both of them, right?
Yeah.
Completely sideswiped it. I like Conor Gallagher, but if they fall to Madison or Xavi or Kulu, 7 times out of 10, they probably finish 1 or 2 of those. So for me, you've gained 2 goals there and you win 3-1. Then no one's complaining. And if he's doing his bit, and naturally they'll double up, and then it allows Savio to do it. So you're creating double the amount of chances. So that is where I would kind of put my eggs into the basket and say, if we could get a striker to score 15, 20 goals, an Ollie Watkins or someone like that, then I feel that the whole team will push forward. With what you said about the defence, you think we kind of did it from the wrong.
But James, Xavi's not back till whenever, God knows, December, January. Madison, he's not even playing any games at the moment.
I agree with that. I agree with
Madison
that.
Madison hasn't played 1 pre-season game.
Yeah, and that was one of my I said it to a few people. My critic is I don't really get what De Zerbi's doing. So De Zerbi's either playing it super safe and just thinking, not risking none of these guys, but it's not worth it. And he's going to wait till they come back. Don't mind that, to be honest. But I think that the way we're going to set up, and like where I kind of half disagree with you about the building from the back and the midfield, I think we lost 90% of our games last year, not because of strikers, because we got battered in midfield. Archie Gray and Bergwijn in midfield got dominated in 95% of their games last season. And I feel like this season, that's not going to happen. Okay, we might not score as many as we'd like, but we're definitely not going to lose as many. Definitely going to have a lot more of the ball, and we're not going to concede as many chances. So I think that the way he's building it is how I would have built it personally. But like what Savva said, I would definitely have my plan. So I personally think Savio's done. That's one thing. But
I agree with you on
is,
that. I think Savio's a done deal. I think we're waiting for to press the button.
Kind of clear up.
We'll wrap someone up in a couple of days at some stage, and then it will be, oh, funny enough, Savio to Spurs. I think the Savio conversation is really interesting because if you go purely on stats at City, yes, I like what I see on the eye. I like what I saw at Girona. And I do make you right, James. I think if you've got Savio hugging the touchline on the left and Kudus on the right, it does then mean teams can't double up on Kudus so easily like they did last year when we had nothing on the left. Also, got to remember, we're going to play a very different... I always say this to people. When teams play Man City, they put 10 men behind the ball, don't they? From minute one, teams play Man City and go, let's have 2 banks of 4 or 2 banks of 5, whatever it is. So wingers like Savio spend all their time on the touchline, passing in, trying to find space. I don't think that's how Tottenham will play. I think Tottenham will be quick in the transition, using the pace of Kudus, using the pace of Savio. And I think you're going to see a lot more. I think Savio's a super talented lad that didn't suit the Pep Guardiola way of playing. That's not a slight on Pep Guardiola, but people just...
Everyone say the same thing about Jack Grealish. No, we don't want him. He's finished. 2 months into his Everton career, everyone's going, he's actually still got it. Like, it's the same thing. A good player for me is a good player. Yeah, There's always flaws in everyone. There's flaws in everyone. Even if Savio is going to do your tricks, your flicks, and draw 2 players, that then allows your Xavis, your Madisons, your Kuduses, your Kulus, your Poros. Like we're forgetting Poro is going to be further forward this season. He's going to be able to get balls into the box. So I just feel a lot of people are writing Savio off, in my opinion, because of how long this transfer has been going on. It's been going on since last season, so everyone's done with it now. They're like, I'm bored. He doesn't want it. It was linked with him last season. I personally think he would be a great addition to the squad, but only if we get a striker. There's no point bringing him in if we don't have a striker.
Footballer. Savio, if you watch Savio, footwork, technique, skill, he's got it all. I think a lot of people, they talk about the output, and I completely get it. But just because you don't score a lot for one manager doesn't mean you're going to replicate that at a different club, right? And isn't that the job of De Zerbi? That isn't like what we're saying is that's the job for De Zerbi. At Man City, that doesn't need to be Savio's job because Erling Haaland will rattle in 60 goals a season, right? At Man City, it doesn't matter. At Spurs, you'll get more out of him. So I like the Savio deal, but I do think everyone on this panel probably agrees you still then need goals from the middle of the park. That is where I think a striker will come into it. And Dan, dare I say it, maybe, do we go back and look at a Morgan Gibbs-White who scores loads of goals from attacking midfield?
I don't think that's a bad idea because I think we need a number 10 as well, personally. And that's just personal opinion. I don't know whether Madison's going to handle the season or not. We do know he is a bit brittle, but I don't know whether he'll handle the entire season. Knowing that he's had those major injuries as a manager, would I want to totally rely on him as my number 10? No, I want someone there as well that I know I can play games with who can take that place if needed. Simmons ain't... We're probably going to be lucky if we see good out of Simmons by the end of this season because coming back from a major injury like that straight into the middle of the season, it's going to take him time to get match fit and everything else, you would presume. I think we need that number 10 as well, personally. We've got to get goals out of here somewhere. Morgan Gibbs-White is one that I definitely would not say no to. And I think he'd be more of a first team. Yeah. And I think he'd probably end up more of a first team starter than Maddison personally, because there's chances are he'd be significantly fitter a lot of the time. Now, if Maddison was going to be fit for a majority of the season, on creativity, he definitely starts. But I think Morgan Gibbs-White, you get more overall out of a player than you do Maddison. Maddison is brilliant at what he does, but I think Morgan Gibbs-White is more of a complete player as such.
I think Gibbs-White will probably suit De Zerbi more. I don't necessarily think. I don't know if I'd say Gibbs-White's a better footballer. For me, I think technically Maddison's just unbelievable when he's on it. He's on it.
I'm saying overall qualities of what he's got. Course, I think he's more of a player that you could get more out of.
Right? For me, I just think it suits De Zerbi's football a bit better.
Morgan Gibbs-White is. I'm looking at his last 4 seasons in the Premier League. Right, he's missed the lowest number of Premier League games he's played is 34. So, like, we're talking about a guy here who's fit most weeks. He's robust. He ticks the box from a homegrown perspective. He scores goals. Last year, he got 19 GA in the Premier League. Like but I mean, imagine adding 19 GA from midfield or attacking midfield for Tottenham. Right now, I know he'd be 100 million. I know people in the chat can he'd be 100 million, but this is what if Spurs want to go big,
and they want Bergvall, right, for 60 million. Like Bergvall and 50 million, there you go, done. Like that, and you're giving them more value for what they want. This is where the club do need to. That is where the club do need to kind of go. Right, we'll be smart here. You want Bergvall? We think he's 55 million, or we think he's 60 million. You think he's 110 million. We'll meet in the middle. He's Bergvall 50 million, or whatever.
Yeah.
But my question would be: is if we've got like say Savio and Gibbs-White, do we then go for like a tidy footballer to go up front, or it seems like we're going to go for the big man in Thiago, Watkins, Vlahovic? I wouldn't say no to Delap from Chelsea. Like, would we kind of sort of think that is the sort of route we should go down? The big man that's just going to stay in the box the whole game, or would you be looking at someone that's going to get involved a bit more, help a bit more, or if that makes sense?
Is that still off James's question? Is that how De Zerbi plays? Because from what I've seen, he doesn't tend to play with the archetypal big physical number 9, which is why I would probably think an Ollie Watkins fits more as a running the channels, dropping deep, linking up. I don't know. What do you think?
It's crosses into the box, low on the ground, or get to the byline and square it back. So either you've got to be a poacher in the box or you've got to be around the penalty spot. And that's how we've created most of our chances. In the middle, we don't actually create much in the middle from the 10 role. What I've seen is from the 10 role, it's more about pressing and forcing errors and just winning the ball in and around the box. That's what the 10 seems to do. The actual through balls don't actually come from the 10. They come from the 8. All the killer passes today came from Williams-Barnett, who was deeper in the 8, splitting the defense open from there. So I feel more creative.
Is that because we've not had Xavi Simons or Maddison so far?
It could be. It could be. It could be. It could be that, Savva, and we've just had to adapt because there's no number 10. But what I've seen is, the creativity in the middle comes more from the 8.
Yeah.
Which is now why I'm thinking Fernandes is going to be creative from an 8 role.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm seeing William Barnett do. And a lot of it comes down the flanks. A lot of link up with the fullbacks into the middle, then the overlap back out to the wide players, and then they either get to the byline and square it back, or they get good crosses in. So I'm not sure we're going to be creating from the 10 role as much. But it could be what you said, Savva. It could be because all our 10s are injured.
Yeah, with Tonali, we've got a perfect man there basically as a deep line playmaker, because that's when he was actually at his peak at AC Milan. He actually dropped off the ranks when he went to Newcastle and they played him basically as an anchor man. They didn't use him to his full advantages. So we've definitely got someone deeper who can start something. But then I would have thought it definitely needs to get further up the pitch to continue what's been started to then get it to the strikers. I agree with what you said. I don't think we'd be using a target man, basically. And with a target man, no target man, for me, that takes Solanke out of the picture. To me, that's what he is, a target man. I think that's what he'd be best at. We definitely ain't got that poacher, that little goal scorer in the middle, have we?
Our biggest threat today was our pressing game. The amount of times we've turned over the ball was unbelievable. Like we pressed really, really well, but we played a team that isn't great at getting out the press either. So how good is the press? You don't know. Like we're playing really bad teams at the moment, guys. We're playing bad teams. It's hard to tell.
We are, and this is why. Like I see a lot of people go deep into the friendlies. For me, I listen. I don't care if we win a friendly. I don't care if we don't. I know everyone gets really excited. Like the other day, Tock was everybody's favorite defender, and then today he's everybody's
last season.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, though, I think what's noticeable is there isn't any creativity fit. So what we're having to do is use Gallagher as a pressing 10. Like Gallagher's not an out-and-out 10, is he? Gallagher is a box-to-box pressing midfielder, and he'll do that all day long. That's fine, but in games where you have most of the ball, you've got to have a Maddison, somebody, right, that's got that, a Phil Foden type, a Cole Palmer, somebody that's got that through ball. Problem that we've got, though, even if we had that, who are they actually threading the ball through to right now? Like,
Savva,
surely we don't need another year to tell us that Solanke and Richie are not the one. Surely we don't know. Surely no one needs another season to tell them that those two are not good enough.
This has been my entire. I was on We Are Tottenham TV 4 weeks ago when everyone's getting excited about transfer window. And I said, guys, I've got one concern. Where are the goals coming from? It's great, all these players we're signing, but who's going to score the goals? And the usual thing happens, everyone comes for you, you hate the club and all that shit. 4 weeks later, everyone's now talking
really
about
Spurs.
the attack. Yeah, go support Arsenal.
Yeah.
4 weeks later, everyone now's talking about the attack. And I've got the same question today. Who is going to score the goals? Like you came on my show earlier when Alex is saying, I expect top 6, no excuses from De Zerbi. I'm like, Alex, great. But no matter who the manager is scoring. Yeah, put Pep in charge. Who's scoring? Just tell me the names.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. I just don't see who's putting the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis.
Yeah. Just quickly, sorry, before we go on, guys. Dude, Samuel, I'm sure you're a lovely guy, but every time you're on my chat, all I see is you talking about Richarlison. Like it's like a love affair with Richarlison. We get it. You rate him. I don't think many people do. And when you keep telling us how
today.
When you keep telling us how great he is, this is a guy who's never, ever scored more than 13 goals in a season. By the age of 29, 30, that's got to tell you a story, hasn't it? It's got to.
He looked invisible against Sydney FC.
Does, doesn't he?
What was embarrassing for me is the fact he's trying to buy penalties in a pre-season friendly against Sydney FC. He's diving over and staring at the ref trying to buy a penalty. I think you're fucking shameless, man. When your main tactic, your main attribute is, can I win a penalty here? You're done.
In a friendly, I totally agree with that. I mean, the problem you've got up front is not many people likes players diving, whatever else, but it's literally what they're told to do up front. You get touched, you go down. Because if you don't get the penalty either. It's a bit of a catch-22. But you don't go doing that in a bloody friendly. I mean, to start diving all over the place in a friendly, for me, someone needs a slap in the face there. All right, I get the idea you might want to win, but it's a bloody friendly, for God's sake. Other thing that definitely makes me ask questions as well, and that's only going from part of what I saw today, because I only saw the after of the game as such, 10 minutes. Why isn't Kingsley starting? Who's meant to be our number one goalkeeper?
That was my question before the game. That is what I said it a little bit earlier. Is I don't get what De Zerbi's doing here. Like, I really don't. He is switching so many players around.
I'll ask you guys a question on this because I asked it on my channel. Do you think Dubravka might be the number one next season?
I've got a feeling it's not as. Do you know what? I was watching the game. If my boss is watching this, I was not watching the game earlier at all, and. The co-commentator said, who was it? Was it Terry Gibson, who's Spurs player fan? And he said, I don't think it's as clear cut as people think it is, with Kinski being the number one and Dubravka being the number two. He said everyone says Dubravka's come in, but Dubravka went into Burnley last year as number two, ended up being the number one. He's a seasoned pro. Well, listen, I'm not. By the way, I'm not the Dubravka fan club, but he's a seasoned pro. He's played multiple years in the Premier League. Kinski is still a risk, whichever way we look at it.
Massive
I
risk.
feel like you might have a point there. I don't think it's going to be as clear cut still. I don't.
I hope not on that one, because I'm one and I'll stick by what I've said unless he proves me wrong. I think putting Kinski in there, for me, if he's our number one, for me, that's a massive red flag. Massive. Because I just don't think some people, obviously everyone sees it different, but I don't think some people understand how important a bloody goalkeeper is. A striker might win you games during the season, but then the goalkeeper will also save you 10 to 15 points in the season as well. That is what a goalkeeper is there for. He has done nothing consistently to prove that he is a Premier League number one, bar 5 good games out of 7. Has he even started double figures in the Premier League?
No.
I don't know. I know he played about 12 games last season, but only 7 of them were in the league. I don't even know if he's played bloody 10, 12 games in the Premier League. For me, that is a massive, massive gamble when actually a goalkeeper, there is a fair few good goalkeepers out there, bloody good ones, who I would say are cheap as well.
I think it's hard to say, because
that's a red flag for me. 5 games he's had.
I agree.
5 good games.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but for me, he's not my priority to fix. I do believe we need to upgrade. I do, but I think there's more important things for me to kind of go with. And sometimes, I know it's only 5 good games or whatever, and I'm kind of going to contradict myself here. I thought he did well in those first 5 games. But I think he made himself look better by being inexperienced and not a great goalkeeper. So
do you reckon
by that I mean there was a couple of saves where they were really good saves, but the only reason they were good saves is because he was out of position. So the save was fantastic, but he was 2 or 3 steps to the right rather than be in the middle of the goal, and you're thinking, what a good save, but he pulled that on himself by being out of position for me. But at the same time, sorry.
Do you reckon he got the excess credit? Credit he deserved, by the way, for how badly he screwed up in that Champions League. On the mental effect, I think he done very well on coming back. Do you think he got the extra credit as well on top of that as such? Because no one ever expected him to even basically play football, especially in the Premier League again, sort of thing after what happened. Look what happened with the Liverpool fella. I just feel a goalkeeper is just as important as what we need up front, because a goalkeeper saves you games.
Don't you think half of this narrative is that self-serving narrative? And what I mean by that is so many went so hard on him. Like, yes, he had a nightmare in Atletico Madrid, right? He won't be the first. He won't be the last, right? But after that game, rather than people going, God, he had a nightmare, it's the internet. So him having a nightmare turned into his career's over. He's never going to play a minute of football again. Spurs have got to sell him. He's shit. He's nowhere near as good as Vicario. And then those very same people, 5-6 games later after we stayed up, are, well, the redemption arc. And you're like, whoa. Okay. When we talk about redemption arc, before that one bad game, I wasn't enamored with Kinski. I never thought, oh my God, this guy's great. But I never thought, oh, you're terrible. I just thought, young goalkeeper who's still got a lot to learn. But that 120 minutes, Dan, convinced most of the fan base that his career is over. And
after what happened with the Liverpool fella, yeah, I agree. After what you see happen with was it a German fella at Liverpool, goalkeeper? I can't remember, the one who totally screwed it up in the final against Real Madrid.
Was it Karius?
I can't remember his bloody name. But
Gareth Bale ended his career.
Where basically he got told, don't worry, you'll be with us now, and Klopp couldn't get him out of there quick enough. I personally didn't think he'd step foot in a Spurs shirt again, personally, after that. I didn't think he would. But I haven't changed my opinion in the aspect of saying he's now all of a sudden quality player because he's had 5 good games. For me, he had 5 solid games, no 2 ways about it. Great to come back on the mentality side. But then if Tell goes and scores for 6 games on the trot, isn't that basically doing exactly what Kinski just done? And we should then change our minds about Tell or Richie or whoever else who, like Richie last season, scored a few goals on the trot. All of a sudden, this manager's got it. He knows how Richie works. And the fan base totally turns over. Yes, Richie's in. We've got him. And then all of a sudden...
Dan, first 3 games of the season, whichever one of these 2 strikers starts, Solanke or Richie, right? Let's just assume one does at the moment. someone will grab a couple of goals in the first 3 or 4 games of the season and will naturally go to, told you, he's right, deserve it. We did it last year. So, Richie scored a brace, if I'm not wrong, on day 1. If I'm not wrong, didn't he get a brace? And he scored a couple of worldy volleys, didn't he, against Burnley? And straight away, everyone did it again. Oh my God, he's great. And I don't know how many years we have to keep playing this game to notice that these players, they aren't average because of their teammates. They aren't average because of a manager. They are average because they've been average their entire careers. Their numbers are average. They are, if you said to me, Solanke or Richie is your number 2 striker next year, but Ollie Watkins is your, I'm just using him for example, Ollie Watkins is your number 1, fine. I don't care. We're playing 1 game a week. But this narrative that every summer we have to have this same conversation about these same footballers. And that leads you back to what you're talking about with Kinski. I've got nothing against Kinski. I really hope Kinski comes in and absolutely shows everyone he's brilliant. But
that's
if he doesn't,
that's the other thing again. We do it all the time, Savva. In that aspect, it only takes a couple to change someone's mind. But the other thing is, if you don't necessarily agree with a player or think he's ready yet or think he's the right one, all of a sudden you hate him, you despise him, and you've wished death on him, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not like that at all. I just want an established quality keeper because I feel a keeper is as important as a striker. But that's just the way I see football. There's nothing hate. There's no personal in it.
Just before Phil comes in, Dan, this is my pet hate is when people say you've got an agenda against XYZ player. Why would I not want every Spurs player to be amazing? Like, why would I have an agenda against anyone wearing a Spurs shirt? I just either rate them or I don't. It's not that deep, right? It's really not that deep. It's not personal.
So I don't think you can treat every player the same. The reason is Tell's had a year and a half. Kinski's barely had a chance. Okay, he's had, what, 8 games at best. So we've seen enough of Tell to roughly have an idea. I think with Kinski, he deserves 1 season as the number 1 to see, right, what can you actually do? Do it now when we're not going to be challenging for anything. Now's the time to do it. Like when Arsenal did it with Ramsdale, and then when they realised, right, Ramsdale, we've tried it with you, we need better, in comes Raya. Let's see if Kinski's a Ramsdale or if he's going to become a Raya. I think he deserves that chance. So I would give Kinski a season. With Tell, I've seen time and time again. He huffs, he puffs, and once in a while he blows the house down. Most of the times he flatters to deceive. Today, he showed his level. This is his level. He beat a man a couple of times, put in a couple of good crosses, but most of his good play was from dead balls, corner kicks, and that brilliant free kick. From open play, all the shots he took today were shite. They were either high and wide or straight at the goalie. Not once did he take a shot from open play that tested the goalie. Not once. And a lot of his creativity, Williams Barnett put more killer passes to in dangerous positions than Tell did all game. And he's 17 and Tell's been playing for at least 2-3 years. So for me, I think what Tell is a player that will one day become good, but that's it. I don't think Tell is going to be anything wow. And if anyone disagrees with me, then why are we trying to sign Savio? If Tell is so frigging good, why do we want Savio? Because the manager that everyone loves, all of you in the comment, and my best friend Sean Butler, because I have this chat with Sean every day. If Tell is so good, why does our manager want Savio? Because that's the position he's going to play in, right? I don't think we can
give credit, Tell. I'm going to give Tell some credit, right? And somebody who's actually in the chat, I can see them in the chat now, messaged me this today, and I thought it was quite interesting. He said, if you actually look, all of Tell's good moments come from when the ball is dead. Right?
Yeah, dead balls. That's right.
It comes from when the ball is dead. Like if you look at his goal against Leeds, ball's killed stone dead, lovely shot, top corner. Today, lovely free kick, top corner. For me, And I can only say this is what I like because I get told I've got a narrative against him or an agenda. I just don't particularly rate him. If people do, I've got no problem that people rate him, but I want better at Tottenham. For me, when I watch a good winger, for me, it's what they do when they got the ball at their feet and they're running with pace, right? When a winger is running with a ball, that's when you see how good's their first touch, how good's their close control, how much can they beat a man, right? How good is their pass while they're on the run? Now, if Tell can develop that side of his game, guys, I'll happily sit here in a year's time and go, cool, I didn't think he had that in him. This isn't about, oh my God, I need to be right. But so far, what I've seen from Tell is in open play, I don't see that any defender is worried by him. I don't see that he's going to get fans off their seat. I just think he is a player for me that we signed way too soon in his career without anything to really back up why we spent that money. But if he is the number 2 this season, when he comes into games, take your chance, shut me up, and we go fair play. But that's my take on Tell. I think brilliant on the dead ball scenarios. I just think as a footballer, there's not one bit of me that says any of the teams that we're chasing down would want to sign him. Do you know what I mean? There's not, he doesn't get into any of the teams around us, is my point.
He for me, his biggest problem is he gets himself into a really good position by good skill, good footwork, then he ruins it by passing it back. He hasn't got nothing in that final third ability to say, right, I beat my man, deliver the ball. He did it today. I remember it was about 13 minutes in. He dribbled past 2 players, stopped on the byline, and then passed it back to the left back. I'm like, what's the point then? Well, why even bother doing that first part? I mean, I know Danny disagrees. He loves Tell now. Him and Sean are Tell's #1 fans. But for me, I don't understand it. Personally, I don't understand it. I don't get where all the love is coming from. I don't get how everyone's making out that he's going to save us this season and he's going to score an assist and do everything. I don't get what the people are seeing that I'm not. Maybe it's me, but I don't see what everybody else is seeing to say, I want this guy to be my #1 left winger. I really don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't see it, James.
But going with people like Tell, Kinksky, and I'm sure there'll be another one that gets mentioned as well. Yeah, but give them a chance. Let's see how good they are. Okay, let's give them a chance and let's see how good they are. Right, and then when it goes tits up at the end of the season, or if it does halfway through the season or whatever, and we haven't gone and bought ourselves an established goalkeeper or left winger or whatever else we need, because we're giving players a chance, then don't bloody complain that we ain't bought the players, is what I'll be saying to a few people. Because there's a lot of people saying, but give them the chance. They deserve a chance. Well, I'm sorry, I want better.
But Dan,
I don't care about deserve a chance, earn a chance.
Dan, but how do you earn a chance unless you get given the chance to earn it?
Because you become an established player at 25, 26. I'm not willing to take that who's already played 3-4 seasons. I'm not willing to take that risk with a player that's only played five games in the Premier League last season, and also someone up front who's had a fair few chances and just has looked nothing, basically, bar a moment.
But then in that case, we've got to get rid of at least 60% of the squad then, which we're not going to do.
Yeah, we should.
No, we're obviously not. We're obviously not going to do it, but we should. But we should. But no, obviously not. But if we want that left winger and we want that striker, then we're going to have to put a certain player aside like Till. And what I'm saying is, there's people saying, give him the chance. He deserves a chance. I don't care about deserves a chance. I don't care about youth players coming through or deserving the chance. I want players that are established. I want players that have played 3 to 4 years already, sort of thing. Not players that might that could come.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen this season, is it? We can't do it.
Can I just say, by the way, just quickly, Terry, can we just say, I feel like the word hate is where the football conversation gets lost and it becomes personal. I don't hate Tell. I've just sat there and said, I hope he proves me wrong and he's brilliant. I just don't particularly rate him. And every time we don't rate a player doesn't mean I hate them. Like, I think Ben Davies looks like a wonderful human being. I just don't rate him, right? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I don't feel like it's hate. I just feel like I'm with Dan. In the one hand, we want Enoch out. We want money spent. We want to buy top players. And on the other hand, we're going, oh, but I'd give him a chance. I'd give him. All right. So you give Kinski a chance as your starting keeper. You give Tell a chance as your starting left winger. You give some people, let's give Scarlett a chance as your starting strike. All right, cool. So now what are we? Are we a proper football club that wants to challenge, or are we a youth team that wants to give everybody a chance? And that's
I think you can give one a chance, right? For me personally, I think you can give one a chance maximum. I think Tell's had enough chances last season to stand out from the rest and be like, right, I'm first choice. This is my position to lose. I think Kingsley come in and did have 5 or 6 really good games. So for me, out of everybody, I'd say, you know what, if anyone does deserve a chance, I'm happy for him to be given that chance. So that's not me saying, oh, Kingsley's my number one, but it's saying, right, you've come in, you've proved everybody wrong for the last 5 or 6 games, and you did your job. Well, I have no problem with you being given a chance. But it's people like you're saying, like Scarlett's. I had this conversation earlier. People were saying Mikey Moore, we should keep on to him. He's generational. Show me one good game where you've gone to him and gone, wow. I've seen more from Barnett in the last 2 games than I've seen in any game from Mikey Moore. And that's not saying I think that Wish Barnett is fantastic. But I'm judging by what I'm seeing, the ability to play a pass, the dribbling, the confidence to beat a man. And I think he hit the bar today, take a shot and hit the bar. I've seen more from that kind of style of play.
His Panenka penalty was ridiculous.
Panenka penalty, that is piss take, mate. You're 17 and you're just going, yeah, fuck off. Yeah. I'm whatever. That for me, so I would get it. But even then, I'm still like, look, you go out, you stay in the youth, do your thing, and then you'll come up when you're ready. But people like Mikey Moore needs to be given a chance. Based on what?
Like Luke Williams Barnett's like our version of Dowman at Arsenal. He's like our version, right? That's how I see him.
Fair, yeah,
right?
Fair.
He's a very talented young player, probably the best talent we've got in the academy.
Danny, and Malachi Hardy at the back's been.
Yeah, he looks pretty good as well. He looks very youngster. He does. He looks very composed on the ball. With the discussion about Tell, right? For me, I like Tell, right, as a player. I think he's a decent young player. But again, he's not someone that I've said this since he's came to the club. He's someone that I want to be as the substitute, as the person that comes off the bench to impact the game. Because whenever I've seen him come off the bench, quite often he's done right. He's done pretty good as an impact player. When you're building a squad, you need to have. At this moment in time, we're not going to be able to get 2 top class players in each position. It's just not realistic, right? And what I've seen of Tell, for me, is enough for him to be either a rotation player or a backup player, right? To a more starting sort of senior player as a left winger. I don't want to go into the season as Tell as the only left winger or as our main left winger. That's not what I want, because
I'd be happy with that, Danny. As I've said, if Spurs go and buy insert name of left winger that De Zerbi wants,
just say Leao, for example.
Sure, let's say Spurs buy Leao, whoever it is, that they play on the left wing and they're the number one.
Yeah.
Now it's down for Tell to show I'm as good as that guy. I can fight for that guy. It's then when he's coming on for 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there to show he's good enough. If that happens, Danny, what I've never understood when football fans have these conversations is, why wouldn't I want that? Like, I don't want Tell to come on and miss chances and not cross the. I want every Spurs player to come on and we go, cool, weren't he good today? Weren't he good? Weren't he good?
Like, imagine, Savva,
I just don't see it with him. That's all.
Just say, imagine, right, with him, if he was coming on and he was chipping in with assists or goals, right, from the substitute, that's the best thing he can do. Because if you're going to get a more senior player, which is what I think everyone wants, you want your people on the bench to go and show that they're capable enough to compete with the players who are playing in the first 11, right? That's how you build a competitive squad, because you need competitiveness within the squad in order for us to become a better team, right? If you don't have that competitiveness, then we're not going to improve. It's as simple as that. So for me, I think he's if it was Savio and him, I would have liked to have someone else in the squad who's more proven capable for scoring or has a better output. So like, if you have them two, I'd like to have one of either a Gakpo or a Rashford or someone of that ilk, right? To add to it, I wouldn't just want just them two, but if Savio and Telt is the options, then for now I'll be all right with it, and then we see how it goes until the next window.
Do we think someone like Tell is going to be happy?
Sorry, James. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. But like, it's just to touch on what you said earlier. It makes no difference if we don't get someone who can score up front. Like, we have to have one attacker that is a competent finisher who can get you 15, 20 GA a season, at least 10, 15 goals in the Premier League. Like, we need that 100%.
Desperately.
Do you think on the Tell thing, this is his third season? Is it his third season? He was on loan, and then last season, and then this is his third season, is it?
Second and a half, basically.
Second. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Last season was his first full season.
Okay, fine.
This would be his second and a half.
Okay, fine. So, did you think that he's going to be also prepared to sit on the bench if Savio comes in? Is he the kind of guy? Is he the kind of guy that I'd look at and go, "Yeah, you're happy here. You're going to fight for your space here," or is he the kind of guy that's going to say, "I want first 10 minutes to develop"? Because the other problem with Tottenham is we don't do that, right? We have our first 11, and then the rest is such a drop off, and we never use any of them. So, if, say, for example, Savio comes in, Rashford, Gakpo, whoever, takes that left wing spot, and they've made it their own, you've now got another 20-year-old on the bench that's been here 2.5 seasons that hasn't played more than 5 to 10 games a season. At what point do you say we'll keep him just to keep him? At the moment, he's probably worth 45, 50 million or whatever you could probably get for him. You'd leave that another season, that drops. Leave it another season, that drops.
Yeah, but that's what Spurs need to get better with, James, right? Like, at the moment, from my point of view is, I think whenever I switch on any form of content, everyone's talking so much about children. Like, everyone's talking so much about these kids and which kid's going to be good and which youth player. Can we just for once worry about the first 11 for the moment? Like, can we get the first team sorted and let the rest of it deal with itself? So for example, again, I don't know. It's leaning towards Savio. I think we can all see that, right? It's leaning towards Savio. De Zerbi must have signed that off. From what I'm hearing, it's all him. He's signing everything off. He's being given the keys. If he is signing off Savio, there must be a reason why he's signing him off, and he must think that he can do something with the player. Now, whether I rate him, you rate him, whoever rates him or not, that's now down to De Zerbi to go, cool, you got your guy, right? Now show us why. Now, I think he'll get loads out of Savio. Just my opinion. I think he'll get loads out of Savio because I think he'll play very differently to the way Man City do, which is why when people look at the GA for Savio, I don't think they're looking at how Man City play. Again, just a personal opinion. However, for me, this is the difference, right? If we want to be considered a top club, guys, right? It shouldn't matter if it's Tell, if it's Savio, whatever. If Spurs sign in a Savio and he's an absolute flop, that's where Spurs need to adopt the Chelsea mentality of came in, he was shit, we're moving him on, right? Yeah. And that's the difference. The problem is at Spurs, we do this with players year after year. So this is now going to be the third year in a row where I'm told, you wait and see with Tell. You wait and see with Gray. You wait and see with Odegaard. How many years have we been waiting and seeing for Bergvall? How many years have we been waiting and seeing for Sarr, for Richie, for Solanke? I don't care. Just be ruthless. Bring them in. If that's the manager's guy, bring him in. If he doesn't work, get rid of him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think also, Savva,
if you all want, does not you guys, everyone's praising De Zerbi, right? He's the savior. He's our guy. We all love him. Give him the keys. It's funny. We all want a manager to be given the keys until the keys aren't quite what we want as a fan, right? Yeah. So give De Zerbi whatever he wants. Cool.
Also, Sav,
shit, we shouldn't be buying him. Okay, you got
to also look at the fact that it seemed that De Zerbi wanted to get Tell in on loan when he was at Marseille before he left. Right, that was one of the targets that he wanted, and they couldn't get him because we actually needed him. And lo and behold, we actually did utilize him towards the end of the season. And that's another thing. It seems as what the media's giving us the information is that Tell is someone that De Zerbi really likes, right? And I think you have to look at Tell. He's been here a year and a half a year on loan, and then a year as a full season, and he's had 4 managers in a year and a half. 4 managers. That's a lot. It's a lot, right? So how is a player like
say that about any player then?
Yeah, but I'm saying people want to keep moaning about why players are not growing or developing. Well, how can you develop when you've got 4 different managers coming in a short space of time, right?
It's a fair point. But what about Gray and that? Do you give them that excuse?
A good player will show.
No, a good player will show that, right? But I'm saying that
it's about coaching. These aren't 12-year-olds, Danny. You know, this is a guy that came from Bayern Munich with a big reputation. We should still, as fans, go. Cool.
Savva, there's also the argument. There's also the argument that certain managers don't want to look how. Let's be honest. Look how Frank mishandled Tell, right? The way he mishandled him and how he mismanaged him, right? There are managers that will like certain players and just will not like certain players regardless of their ability, right?
Of course.
So for example, Tudor didn't like Tell, or Tudor liked Tell but didn't like Tell, and then Frank liked him at the beginning, didn't like him, liked him, didn't like him, never gave him a consistent run whenever he played good, right? So how does that help a young player develop, right? If they're not being trusted because the managers don't know what they're doing or they don't know who they can trust, right?
Well,
so there is that element of if you've got a manager who trusts you, right, then it's going to give you more confidence and he's coaching you the way that you feel that you should be coached, right? It's going to give you the confidence to give your best and be the best version of yourself, right? Which is why I think Tell can do a lot better under De Zerbi. And same like Kudus, same like Savio if he comes in. That's what I believe anyway.
But what I would say to that, mate, is that I think that's a very, and I'm not saying this is your mentality, by the way. I think that's a very 2026 mentality. What happened to the days of you had to earn your spot, earn your praise, win over the fans, the public, whoever it may be. At the same
time, though, James.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like there's a lot more now. We'll wait and see. Maybe. He's going to be generational. Mikey Moore's, even Barnett's, the Vuskovics that just left, Bergval. Everyone's talking like these players like they've already they know they're going to become the next Javis, the next Maldinis. It's already like they're in their thinking process. I haven't seen anything from any of those young guys to say you're a top player inside there. I could see that. And that for me is my only concern. I feel like there's so many easy way outs now. No one really earns their stripes anymore. No one actually works their way into the squad and keeps their way in the squad.
Well, that's mainly at Spurs, James. That's mainly at Spurs.
I was going to say the same thing. It's also because not just that, Dan. We've never had an ownership that shows any form of ambition on a consistent basis, right?
That's one thing. But if we put that aside, our fans have always said they wanted to be a big club until we start acting like a big club, and they don't want to be a big club anymore.
Yeah.
Signing Vuskovic, selling Vuskovic. Everyone was going mental. He's going to be the next big. Why are we selling him? Because we've just signed 50 million, and that 50 million has gone on a top quality centre back. Big clubs do this.
Can I tell you what?
For me, would sell Tell. A big club for me would go, you're offering me 50, 60 million for Tell. Off you go. Right, now let's go and get a proper winger. Right, you're offering me 25 million for Richarlison and 40 million for Slanky. Off you go, both of you. Bring in proper players. But we are so sentimental. They're going to be good. When we do act like a big club and say, you ain't right for us right now. No, why are we doing this? Why are we acting like a big club?
Whoever he lets go, right? You guys can clip this. You can hold me to this. Whoever he lets go, that's his decision, right? If this is going to be the thing, this is the guy that's getting the keys. This is the 5-year project. This is the plan. Cool. Sell who you want, mate. I don't think any of these are that good that I'm worried about them being sold. I get that people have affinities with a Tell, with a Saar, with a Bergval, that's fine. None of those players, Maddison, Kulu, whoever, if De Zerbi doesn't want them at the club and decides to sell them, we have asked to act like that as a club, right? And it astounds me the number of fans that get really upset by players that have done nothing in a Spurs shirt. They're going to be upset. I'm seeing people with Bergvall, right? If Rafi Mawson, by the way, if Rafi Mawson gets anything over £50 million for Bergvall, who's done the absolute square root of nothing in a Spurs shirt, that man should have a statue, right, put in the centre circle of the pitch. But we've got fans going, what? We're going to sell Bergvall? Yeah, why wouldn't we? Like, what? I'd rather Luca Williams-Barnett gets a year out on loan and then comes back and is the guy than Bergvall. Yeah. Much better footballer. But I don't know, just me.
Also, Savva, look at the players that we've sold already, that Rafi's sold, right? The deals that he's done. Vuskovic never played a single senior game for Spurs.
Great.
50-odd million, right? Lancashire never played a senior game for, well, he has, but 1 or 2 games. That's about it. £20 million. That is how Chelsea act. That's how big club acts, right? Absolutely. They get value for money for their youth, right? And then they reinvest that money into more senior players, right? And I think for the next couple of windows, that's what we need to do, is keep investing in senior players, which is why as well I think that someone like someone like Tell for now, I think is a good option to have in the squad, because I do think if he doesn't perform this season, right, when he's got competition for the left wing, then I think at the end of the season, I think they're going to look to move him on as well, which is exactly what a big club should do, right? Because I know that everyone wants it to happen really. Everyone wants everything to happen like right now. Like they've got to change everything right now. But realistically, it doesn't work like that. So you have to have a bit of, but we look how much players that we've already brought in already, let alone we've still got to sell players, right? And let alone we've still got to bring in more.
Coming in, though. Yeah, but say Savio's coming in because, again, just because this of the name. And Brentford say, just pick a Brentford randomly, we'll give you 45 million for Tell. Okay, take that 45 million and go give United 40 million for Rashford. That's how a big club happens. That's a big club for me.
And that's what we should do with the young players as well. Dan, the other thing that I have on this is that I do find a lot of Spurs fans, mainly on the Spurs side, I see this, very rare anywhere else. Why is it this place has got such a sentimental soft spot for the youth lot? As far as I'm concerned, that youth team should be there, what it's there for. It's going to sound harsh, cannon fodder. Nothing more, nothing less. Unless you spot that 0.6% or 0.9% that's going to come through the rankings when you've loaned him 3 times. Stick the rest, do what Chelsea do what other big clubs do what City do. Go loan the players out, go get him some experience. Right, he's worth 5 million. Yep, take it, goodbye. If he comes good, it rarely happens anyway. If another one gets 20 million for it, great. That's 20 million towards another striker we need. That is what we should be doing, like every other big club. I know people don't like the phrase for it or like hearing it. Yeah, but what about I don't support the youth academy. I don't support players. I support Tottenham. So use the youth academy at what it is best for. Cannon fodder. Put them out, get them sold, more money towards the first 11. Because the other thing is, with this youth lot anyway, which they can't be that great if we're getting players like Tell, like Gray, like Odegaard in to overstep their place and they're not getting the chance anyway. So surely they're not that bloody great. Well,
that's not true.
No, then why did we get Tell and other players lost out on the chance on the left wing then? Why did we get Gray over centre mids we got?
Number one, there's no play pathway. 2, our recruitment shit. They don't know what they're doing. They haven't got a fucking clue, which is why we finished 17th twice.
Yeah, but if we go and do that, and we go and get Gray and that.
When you say no player pathway, couldn't we also counter that and say that some of them aren't good enough? Like some of the players I'm seeing fans upset about that are leaving. Again, only my personal. I'm watching and going, why on earth would they ever be in the first team? Now, so Luca Williams-Barnett, right?
Yeah.
He is the one I've looked at for the last year or so when I've watched for the youth team and gone, there's something there. Like you can see technically, like he's got that swag as well. But also you can see from today, for as good as he is, he's not ready for the first team. For as good as he is, he needs to have that kind of kid in the playground mentality knocked out of him where he's a bit selfish, and not a bad thing because he's a kid. But again, what we will do, you know this still, you know what we will do. our fans, whenever we're not winning a game, will go, Luca Williams-Barnett will say, and we will put so much pressure on this one kid. And the problem is, they also wanted to keep Bergvall. They want to keep Gray. They want to keep Lancashire, right? They want to keep Mikey Moore. They want Yang to get game time. They want Donnelly. Donnelly should be kept, right? Luca Williams-Barnett. No club in the Premier League is doing this. No one can tell me a single club that is bringing through that many young players at once. I'll hand that over to any of you that can tell me.
And just a couple of names there, Yang and Donnelly, for me, they are dreadful. Man. They are dreadful.
But no disrespect to anyone on this panel, right? I don't want to say this in a disrespectful way, but it's going to come across that way because I don't know.
So in other words, you're gonna. So just say it. In other words, you're gonna.
No, because I want to establish that's not how it's meant to come across. Because I said the same thing on my channel. 95% to 99% of Spurs fans and all football fans haven't got a clue about academy football, player development, developing football players from a young age, and the player pathway from 18 to 21. They don't know. Not because they're thick, not because they're dumb, not because they don't understand football, because they have no experience in it. And the analogy I tried to give was, it's like an air hostess telling you about the turbulence, the takeoff, the landing. She's not the pilot. She doesn't know how to fly the plane. So let me talk to the pilot. And my view, having spent many, many years in that Spurs academy, in and out of it, and at many other academies, Championship, Division 1, Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur, the pathway has been broken for far too long. And the only reason it's broken is because the club doesn't have the bollocks for it. Now, the club knows that if a group of kids come through the scholarship program at 18, the club knows 90 to 95% of those kids are not good enough for Tottenham. They know it. The club knows it. They recognize that. Every pro club does. They know that you're not going to be good enough for Tottenham right now, which is why they go on loan or most of them get sold. But you've got that 1 to 2% that are good. That Williams-Barnett, that Malachi Hardy. You've got those little gems every kind of 2-3 years that are good enough. They don't get the chance. So, Savva, you're right when you say Donnelly, Yang, none of them, and you said it as well, James, about Donnelly, none of them are good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. They're not. I can see it. But I can see there are some that need to be given that chance. And that's the problem. They will never get it at our club, unfortunately, because the club hasn't got the bollocks for that, because it means that in the process of giving them that chance, you might lose some games. It might impact results. And the manager's under too much pressure to get results to take that punt. So what everyone then does is says, the academy's shit, the players are shit, we only want your mouths coming through. We only want the best, which is very rare to have those players come through.
Shit, when people say an academy shit,
a lot of people say that, Savva. A lot of people.
No, I get that, but I think there's a difference between an academy being, is an academy good enough to bring through a Harry Kane every year? No academy does, right? But there's a difference between academy being very good in terms of making revenue, bringing through pro footballers that go and play across the leagues, versus is the academy good enough to bring through one top class kid every year? But you're right still, right? Like in the academy, let's be fair, from the age of 5 years of age to the under 20s, 21s, whatever, right? How many kids are at any club at any one time? 250, 300 across all those year groups, right? How many of them in any one period are likely to be good enough to make it? So they know that it's the iceberg, isn't it? It's what, the iceberg, you see that much at the top, it goes right deep at the bottom. The problem is what I find with our fan base, and actually this is probably not just our fan base, this is a lot of fan bases, is everyone thinks they know how good every kid is without having any real deep knowledge and understanding of who is the kid, what are they good at, what's their temperament, what's their background, how grounded are they, how were they brought up, all of these kind of things still. So you're right. Like right now, if Spurs turn around and say, right, in the next 2-3 years, Byfield, Hardy, Luca Williams-Barnett, let's just say they're the three we want to put on a path to being the main guys. Now, one of them might go straight into the 11. One of them might go out on loan. One of them might just stay in the youth team and slowly get minutes in cup games. That's fine. But the problem is you've got fans still that are, Mikey Moore should play every game, right?
Yeah,
Jamie Donnelly should play every game. Alfie Whiteman should have played every game when he was coming through. You've got Dorrington who should have played every game. And the problem is still when they rate every kid, it tells you they don't know which kid is good because they're rating every kid.
I want to say a question as well with that, right? You're saying that we need to bring a pathway. For me, you don't necessarily, well, you do provide a pathway, right? But you've also got to earn that pathway. You don't just get given it because you're part of the youth development. You have to earn that. My second question, or my actual question would be is, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I don't want to kind of accuse you of things that you haven't done, but you're one of the fans that are adamant that winning trophies is priority, right? Correct me if I'm not wrong but in doing so, if we bring in a Hardy and we're 2-1 up, bring him on, concedes a goal, you go out of that cup, quarterfinal, semi-final, last 16, you're kind of contradicting yourself. In my opinion, I'm not saying you are, but like if you're going down that route of bringing players in, I
never said bring him on 2-1, bring on a Hardy. I wouldn't do that.
No, but say for example, I saw one of the shows the other day. You said sell Danso. But I saw one of the shows the other day. You said sell Danso and bring him in as a full centre back. If someone gets injured and you bring him on and he's kind of put in that position, makes a mistake, concedes a goal, you go out of the cup. You're kind of sort of all you care about is winning trophies and you want to proceed. And then now we're putting
the kids
to 18, 19-year-old who've never picked up win a Premier League.
You're creating extreme circumstances. You're creating an extreme scenario to disprove what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to prove. I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying you're always wrong or right.
Okay. When I mean about blocking the pathway is when you go and spend 150 million pounds on tell Odebert, Bergvall, Gray, Souzas, Phillips, Yangs, Pangs, all these players, right? Number one, what a waste of money. It took us backwards. And number two, what does that tell every academy player, the academy director, and the academy coaches? It says
that they're not good enough.
It says that your work is irrelevant because we'd rather go and waste 150 million pounds on players that have done nothing for this club.
But I think they're two different arguments.
No, that says you're not good enough. No,
that says you're blocking the pathway because that's no, it's not because.
But if they were good enough, they'd still come through, surely. Instead of going and putting that money, knowing that the club doesn't necessarily like its money.
Do you know the conversations that the academy director, the lead phase coaches, and the recruitment team have had? Do you know those conversations? Because I do. The academy. Well, I'm going to tell you. The academy are in direct conflict with the recruitment team of Tottenham, and it's been going on for a long, long time. And do you know what? The academy's won the argument because the recruitment team has proven itself to be a mess. They got it wrong, which is why
that doesn't mean that they're good enough. Two wrongs can be, they both could be wrong, right? The academy ain't good enough, and we buy bad players. Because if we didn't sign Pell and we signed Savio or we signed Kudus, no one's saying anything about the academy because we've signed decent players. Because the players we've signed are crap.
Wrong. The academy isn't wrong because the academy never got a chance to prove itself because the kids never got the chance because the pathway became blocked. If James,
so who should be the left winger for Tottenham from the academy?
Wait, hear me out. Let's say Mikey Moore got a chance, Hardy got a chance, and Barnett. Let's say those three got a chance. And over 2 years, they flopped the way others have flopped. The argument's done. These academy kids.
I think they did get a chance. I don't know why you're saying that they didn't get a chance.
What academy kid got a chance in this team the same way?
I think Mikey Moore had more than enough times to grab that ball by the horn, playing 4, 5, 6 games, and he looked one of the worst players on the pitch every time.
Yeah.
The proof in the pudding is he went to Scotland and only scored about 6 goals. Right, and we're talking to this guy.
Yeah, but James, hold on. You're using Mikey Moore as the example. Let me take
I'll give you more if you want. Donnelly, Dorrington,
I'll give you some examples too. Arteta, when he started at Arsenal, in the phase of 2 years, he played Maitland Miles, Willock.
You're missing
Smith
one key
Rowe,
thing still.
Saka. He brought through 5 academy players. In the end, only one made it, Saka. But by giving those 5 a chance, he found that gem. We give nobody those chances, James.
But
Proper
still,
chances.
I
thing.
think he gave Mikey more a chance.
We don't.
Personally.
One player. One.
Still, you just mentioned about Arteta bringing in 5 academy players, right?
Crack as well, yeah.
Right, but when he did bring in those players, they weren't in a position where they were challenging for the title or they were challenging for top 5, right? But still, you can't say that because we can't go and spend £200 million on 2 players and not expect to try and be up there because there's no way.
Need at least top 6 with what we've spent.
No, I said
they need top.
No, I never said that. I never said that's a lie. I said if we get 2 goal scorers, I expect top 6. Yes, because I think we will have the team to do it.
I expect Champions League football.
Yeah.
If we,
I just feel like it's very. I feel like it's very.
I think still,
it's like fake of giving them a chance when they don't.
Flowers.
Your boy, hopefully, fingers crossed, one day is in that position where he has the opportunity to cross the pathway. And if the club he's at or another club doesn't give him that pathway, he's going to be in the same problem, James. And that's,
you earn that pathway, though, right? You earn that pathway.
Do you not think as well, bro? You've got to be given the chance.
But still,
okay, let me answer that back then, because there are players for me that have been given a chance. Whether it's at Tottenham, you've been given your chance to go out on loan and prove, rip it up and improve. Right, you are the guy coming into my team. Mikey Moore went out on loan, did nothing. Donnelly, nothing. Phillips, Dorrington, nothing. How many more of these players are going to go out and do nothing? And we go, got to give someone a chance. Why?
Okay,
let me just finish. If Mikey Moore went over to Scotland and bagged 20 goals, I would be going, let's give this guy a go. He's firing. If Donnelly went over 10 GA, 10 goals, 10 assists, ripped the championship to pieces, I would say, let's give him a go. He earned that spot. You have to earn it before giving the opportunity.
Harry Kane went on 3 loans. He wasn't really doing well.
Everyone relies on the one guy who's now the best player in the world football.
But also, still,
Harry Kane.
You're picking one player who's now the best in the position in the world. One player, name another one.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing, Stel?
I want to reply to that. Because if you're going to use Mikey Moore, I will use Harry Kane, right?
I just think like 10.
Let me finish my point, because you landed your one. Harry Kane went on 3 loans. He never really did it on those loans. He never really did it. So the club said, sell him. It was Sherwood that fought for him to stay. It was Sherwood who trained him in the under-21s that stood up for him. He finally got a chance because, by luck, Adebayor was a mercenary and Soldado was just not scoring. And look what ended up happening with him. This is what I mean. Just because they go on loan, that's not necessarily the indicator. There's more things that you've got to consider other than just the loan. But at Spurs, we don't do that. As fans, he was shit. Can I bring this back?
Savva, can I?
There's a lot of factors you've got to consider. There's a lot.
Just one thing, still, right? So on the Harry Kane one, right? A lot of the coaches were saying that the Harry Kane, even in training, was an unbelievable finisher, right? And which is why Sherwood wanted to give him the chance. But again,
the coaches say about other academy players, Danny.
But again, still, it's relative to where we are trying to be as a football club, right? Because
I get it.
In those moments, right, we were not competing at that level that we want to compete at right now. The end game or the end goal where Tottenham want to be as a football club, especially this season with the way they're spending money, and if they continue spending money,
we were 6th place.
But still, look at what happened when Poch came in. He was using Bentaleb, Harry Winks, there was Townsend in the squad at the time when he was there, right? Right. There was young players in the squad, but what happened when the levels, when the expectation raised, right? Because we were getting stronger as a team, right? He was using youngsters less and less from the academy because he had to get better quality, and that quality was not coming from the academy. And because of the expectation of the fans, the board, whoever else, who you want to say it, right? Those managers are going to be less inclined to give those youngsters a chance because they know they're going to.
I agree with you.
This is what I'm saying is the problem at Spurs. I like which is what James
Danny,
is saying.
Danny, I agree with what you've said. I totally agree.
I also agree. Go on.
I feel like the youth argument seems to be more important in this fan base than actually buying proper players for the first team, which is my concern, right? I feel two ways about it. I feel two ways about this. Yeah, I want to see kids being given a chance and making it. I think everyone does. There's that kind of
course.
There's that romantic notion.
Fairy tale, isn't it? Right.
Of Roy the Rovers, and they're one of our. But the problem is, and I'll go back to what I said earlier, who's actually doing this? Like, we keep talking as though it's Tottenham that don't do it. Tottenham. Who across the Premier League is doing this? Who is giving loads of youngsters a chance?
Very rare.
The problem that you've got is, let's be brutally honest. If we look at, I don't know how many shows I've been on in 5-6 years of doing this, where I've been told that this kid is the next kid, that kid is the next kid, this kid, this kid. Not one of them now is anywhere to be seen in world football. The only one,
even in the Premier League,
the only one that you could say and you could argue that we've lost out on, whatever you think of him, is Noni Madueke, right? Who left for free and has been snapped up by Arsenal and Chelsea in the last 3 or 4 years, right? So with that, you can say, well, that's one that Spurs got wrong. Other than that, when we're having these conversations right now, I'll ask this question. Right now, anyone name me a player from the youth team that should be anywhere near a Tottenham starting 11?
None.
Absolutely not.
Or last year. Now, I agree with Stel, by the way. Stel, I agree with you. 50% of it. I agree with you that, and I said it for years, it was madness. Gray, Bergvall, Sarr, Tell, Odeberg, Yang, Ashley Phillips, Sosa, Kinski. If you keep buying kids on top of your academy, yes, there is no pathway through. But that, for me, is a separate issue to, are the academy kids good enough? I think both of those things can be true, that the academy wasn't good enough and that the young players we bought in front of them weren't good enough but blocked them. But I'm going to ask you guys a question. For me, doesn't this all boil down to that this is only a conversation because we have not bought properly in the first team for years, that we have not had a structure as a team for years. So, i.e., what I mean by that is this, right? For all we know, let's use Byfield, right? Junai Byfield. People are raving about him, right? He could be the next Ledley King. Brilliant. Cool. If Spurs now settle with Roberto De Zerbi for a few years and we've got a way of playing, and in the background, Junai Byfield is being trained to play with the first team, to play the way that our first team centre-backs play, you will see if he's that good, he will get his chance and he will come through. Same way Ledley King did. But I think we talk so much about the youth because we buy so badly. That's my personal opinion.
I don't think it's just that, Savva. Hang on a sec, James. I don't think it is actually just that. I think that's a big part of it. But I do honestly think with this community that even if we was buying quality players, they'd still be like expecting something off the youth, basically, wanting something for the youth. Now I get it. It's the ideal situation, people. But it does seem to be a Spurs community that just go on that they want the youth to make it. That they want.
Do you think, Dan, it's because of Harry Kane?
Hang on a sec. I don't know. It was before Harry Kane. Now, me personally, all right, a couple of points I want to make on this. Isn't it also down to, I know the manager's got a massive job anyway, but isn't it also down to the manager to go and have a quick look at the youth team as well? If his team or certain places ain't doing too great, or if there is he needs a player or two to come in for a game or two, isn't that just, shouldn't he go and have a look at it as well? Not just necessarily rely on the man that talks to him, but have a look at it as well. Okay, fair enough. It's just a question. And then I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah,
I'm asking. And then the other side of it,
it needs to be better.
Fair enough. And then on the other side of it,
I know.
If I wanted to make my youth team better as such, and it was something that I actually give a shit about, which I really don't, I would literally put that aside for about 3 years. Just let them carry on what they're doing, earn me some money. That's all I care about. Cannon fodder. You improve that first 11 and that squad, then you can afford to bring in the odd one or two young players into a game because you've got an established good 11 sitting there. Not putting them in with some Mickey Mouse team that we've had for the past couple of years, where the young player comes on and then people say, well, look at who he's playing against. He's come out shit because they're shit, whatever else. So if we put that aside, establish that first 11 and that squad as such, use the youth players as the cannon fodder for the 5 million, 10 million, odd 15 million, all put in towards first 11. And then when you've got an established first 11 and a more established squad, you can then start bringing in players from the back as such, younger players, into an established squad to learn something and establish players. Not just keep hit and hope on the bloody youth, where they are going to come in. They're not going to be around good players. They're not going to have nothing to learn of and probably going to fail anyway.
Dan, would you change your opinion? Like I was saying earlier, one of the things Stel said, what would you do if your boy was got to that point where he needed to be given a chance? How I would word it to my boy or anybody, go out to where your level is, tear that level up, get all the eyes on you, then you'll earn your spot. For me, like we said earlier, if Mikey Moore would have went out there and scored 25 GA last season, everyone goes, I like that. Right, one more loan. You'll go from the Scottish League, you can go to now Norwich. You're going to be top of the Championship. Pair it up again. Okay, another 25 GA. Right, now you've earned your spot to be given the last 10, 15 minutes in my club. Now you've earned that position on the sub bench. It's almost like there's no pathway, but what we want is them to be thrown into the deep end. Right, you're good enough. Let's go. It doesn't work like that.
Totally destroy them, basically.
That's exactly what we did with Skip. For me, Skip was a fantastic number 6 in the Championship. We come in, put him Cam, centre back, centre mid. He was none of those positions, but we tried to force him into the squad because we thought he was ready. He should have gone back out alone as a number 6, and then he should have come into the squad as a number 6.
Even
it's what we're doing with Bergvall. It's what we did with Skip, Winks. We do it all the time and go, well, why do they always foul?
Well, look at
even
Skip.
if they don't get a chance, in the first team, shut up. What are they complaining about? They're still getting their scholarships and all their training at Spurs and everything. And if they were good enough, you would hope they would come through or someone would see it. Okay, if they're not good enough, okay. They're still going to go to another football club with a scholarship on them or whatever else they get. So in that aspect, I'd also say to my son what you're saying. No, you work it. You get that place. If he isn't quite good enough to get that place, I'd say you milk this club and use it for everything you can to get some establishment on you, to get some loans out there, to go for a club that will play you consistently. Not live on fairyland, basically, telling him that he's going to be the next Messi if he really isn't. I'd tell him to milk the club out of everything he can and then take his career from there, basically.
Don't we have
that's what most of the players at Spurs do, Dan.
That's what I do.
When I was there, all of them
they get put on.
That's what they do at Tottenham, Dan. That's the problem. Right? There's no pathway, so that's what they do.
But hang on, still look at the pedestals we put these people on. Like, and I've said this before. When you watch a Luca Williams-Barnett, for example, my eye goes, yeah, you got something. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you progress. Most of the fan base goes, fucking hell, oh my God, he's generational. He is the best thing we've had for 20 years. He's got to play. He has to. And you're like, whoa. Calm down. Like, calm down. He's 17 years of age. He's talented. And that's what I like what De Zerbi said about him yesterday or today, didn't he? De Zerbi said he's a rare talent. We've got to nurture him. We've got to help him grow. He's a kid. Nope. The fan base are, this is the guy. Now, I could go back the last 10 years. There's been one of these every 10 years, right? Look at my man Lubo. Lubo loves everyone. Donnelly was the greatest. Moore's the greatest, right? Look at half the fan base.
Does anyone remember Lee Barnard?
Yeah, Lee Barnard, all of them.
Yeah, but
right?
Savva.
Hang on. Spurs got £20 million for Lancashire, right? Anyone who's watched Lancashire, I'm sorry. I think he's going to have a good career in football, not at this level. Not playing up front, number 9 for Tottenham Hotspur. And if he does in a few years, fair play. He's gone away, learnt his trade and come back. But look at the absolute biblical meltdown from this fan base.
Yeah. Because
Will Lancashire left as though he'd gone to Arsenal. He's gone to Middlesbrough, right? There's Middlesbrough fans going, who? Is that guy going to get us promoted? But again, Let him have his education. Go to Middlesbrough. You know what? Next season, bang in 2025 championship goals. Yeah? Get Middlesbrough promoted. Come up to the Premier League. Get yourself 10, 12 Premier League goals in your first year. Let people sit up and take note. Fans don't want that. They want everyone to be ready at 18. They want everyone to be ready at 19. He scored 12 goals at Oxford. He must be good enough for Spurs.
It's
What
true.
reality is this?
Dan,
He's not
sorry,
better than Solanke, right? Hang on, sorry. One last thing, still. Sorry.
Yeah.
As much as I don't rate Richie and Solanke, Will Lancashire, when people go, but he's better than that. No, he's not. And that's the difference between whether you rate the players at this level or whether you just think kids are good enough because you don't rate the first team player. Sorry, rant over.
You might be better than Richard.
I want to make this really clear because I can see people in the chat having a meltdown. There's a lot of air hostesses pretending to be pilots in the chat. I don't tell James Flower how to fix a boiler because I can just about change a tap and shut down the mains, right? I let James
should. I've read his reviews.
People need to stick to their lanes. I want to make this really, really clear. I'm not in agreement with all these Spurs fans, the way they talk about the academy. I disagree with most of what they say about this kid, that, this player, that. Why have we sold him? What are we doing getting rid of him? That's not me. My argument is really simple. Out of the kids that get through the scholarship from the Spurs academy, 95, 98% will not be good enough for Tottenham. But that 1 or 2%, I just want to see them get put in the 25-man squad instead of Odebert, instead of Gray, instead of Sousa. I'd rather those 1 or 2 kids be the ones that train with that first team for a season, and then let's see what happens then.
I agree with you on that.
That's my only argument, Savva, which is very different to most people's. But that, what I just described, that never happens. It just doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Gray in one summer.
Yeah, but James, that's my argument. I'm not.
But I do agree with that. But I only agree with that because our recruitment has been poor, not because I think our academy is any good. Our recruitment, if we didn't sign Odebert and Gray and we signed Adeyemi and Savio, no youth player should be anywhere near the first team. So again, for me, you get your recruitment right. I don't see how there is a path unless you go out and earn your stripes elsewhere.
I listen. My opinion. Out of all the kids I've seen pre-season, the only 2 that I see worthy of being given a pathway is Malachi Hardy and Williams Barnett. They're the only 2. And the reason I say Williams Barnett, he looks like he's a talent, but he's got years of development ahead of him. And the reason I say Malachi Hardy is because he's been trained to play as a defender the De Zerbi way. And by chance, we now have a De Zerbi. He perfectly suits the system we're going to play, which is why I think it's worth giving him a look in. But the rest of them, I don't think Donnelly's ready. I think Mikey Moore needs to go back on loan. Kai Martin and Hall played good at the wing backs, but are they better than Robertson and Porro? No. So they shouldn't be there. There's only 2 players at the moment I look at and I say, I hope De Zerbi gives them a crack. But again, I don't know if that's going to happen. It probably won't happen,
Let me ask, we'll wrap up the show in 15 minutes, past, and then I'll send you all over to Tottenham.
Sorry, Savva, people saying Hardy isn't better than Tokai. You are literally football illiterate. I can't do that. Tokai is so poor. And Yang, by the way, people that praise Yang, he's been shocking. All he does is miss open goals. He's been shocking this.
I think this is where I agree with you. The last thing on this subject, this is where I agree with you. For me, rather than buy a Tokai, why not buy Field and Hardy? Rather than buy a Sosa, why not? Is it King?
I agree with that.
Left back? Is it Mason King? Or is it a young
left back has been, I think,
whoever it is, right?
There.
Whoever it is, right? This is the thing for me. I went through this the other day, and in the last 3 seasons, Spurs have signed 11 players under the age of 21. And you think to yourself, not one of those 11 has established themselves as a first-team player. So couldn't we have bought 2 or 3 of them and then bought for a few youth. I do get with that. Let me ask you, I want to say a lot of this, but by the way, I'll say it again because people will say I don't really like Luca Williams-Barnett. Said for the last year or so, that is the one that I think, yes, but that doesn't mean I need him in the first 11 right now to suit some sort of narrative that we've got. Bergvall, guys. De Zerbi's come out today, hasn't he? He was asked about Bergvall and he was, said, what's going on with him? And he said, well, look, he said, Lucas wants to play in a double pivot in a two-man midfield. I can't guarantee him minutes, so we'll see what happens. For you guys, I mean, is there an argument to keep him? Is letting him go after buying 8 million, I think he was, selling him 2 years later for 50 million? Is that good business for Spurs? Are we missing out on anything? Is he good? Where are you all at with it?
It's what I said to you earlier, right? We want to act like a big club until we need to act like a big club, right? The sentimental value of him is bigger than the value of becoming a bigger club. He has to go. And I'm like that with any of the kids, by the way. If somebody come in with Archie Gray and said, here's 55 million, you have to go. Who's up for big money? You have to go. Any of those fringe young kids that could potential, I have no problem with any of them going. But what they need to do is a buyback clause and a sell-on clause. If you do those, I have no problem at all with any of them going.
Agreed.
Is there anyone that would fight tooth and nail to keep Bergvall? Because, guys, as I said, I've been really, I would say shocked. I'm not. The utter meltdowns of people with Lancashire and with Bergvall and that, I don't get it. But does anyone think he should stay? Is there a player in there?
No. Is there a player in there? Possibly. As I say, we don't know how a player's youth player, whatever you want to call him, is going to establish. He might come world class. Very, very highly unlikely. I could win the lottery as well. Again, I wish. But it's what bigger clubs do in the aspect. It's almost like playing poker to an extent. There's times where right, it's worth playing the game. I could lose here, but it's worth playing the game. There's other times where you sit there and you're out straight away because you ain't got a chance. And there's that other one, you play it to the very end because you're highly up in there, basically, and you've got an extremely good chance. For me, he's one of those ones where, personally, I don't even take the chance with someone offers me 40 million for him. That is how much I'd take personally. So, yeah, baked potato, mate, see you later. Gone. Right, there's 40 million towards my striker that I can establish in that first 11. Job done for me.
It's interesting. What I find interesting, guys, is when I see a lot of people message me going, oh my God, why would Spurs get rid of him and not Bentancur? And I'm like, well, the two aren't married, if that makes sense. Those two scenarios shouldn't be the same thing. And this is where I think we need to be more Chelsea-like. I know we talk about Chelsea a lot and they make a lot of mistakes, but Chelsea are very, very good at moving players on. You look at, if you go onto Chelsea's transfer market page and look at the last 3 summers, right? They've sold something like 45 footballers. they literally will get them in. Like last year, they bring in Garnacho. This year, and there's no emotional attachment. They move them on. Nope. We want better. And I think as a fan base, we need to get much better at disassociating ourselves from these players that we seem to have loved.
Savva,
that's the problem, Savva.
Dog eat dog world. That is the phrase you want to use here. It is a dog eat dog world. And basically what you've just said.
Favorite.
Yeah,
I don't even think about dog eat dog. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And
yeah,
the thing is,
but Savva, you're right about the sentimentality, right? There's too many Spurs fans that want to have this like magical fairy tale story of one of our own, this kind of shit, but it's so rare. And until the fan base changes the mentality, it won't change. But this is where the club have to enforce the mentality, because the mentality of the football club has been so shit over the last 25 years from a footballing perspective. So if they start changing it with the manager and they start actually consistently going after the best players you can buy, right? Like your Tonali's, Fernandes, all these kind of type of players, then it will start to change the ethos of the fan base, the mentality. right? It takes time, but the problem is there's too many fans at the moment that are still not on board of how a big club should be run. Look at Alex Ferguson at Man United, right? How many times did Alex Ferguson chop and change stars, right, and bring in different stars to keep things relevant, right, and to keep things consistently at the high level, right? Obviously, you're going to make mistakes as people do in life and everything, but to keep that level of like relentlessness and that level of ambition, you have to do these things, right? And sometimes fans are not going to like it, but that's how a big club works, and that's how I want to see.
We must be the only fan base that can finish 17th 2 years in a row and then still have people find an argument for why every one of the players should be kept.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's surely, after the last couple of years, the last 3-4 years, there should be no one really that's untouchable. There should be no one where we're going, what, you want to sell Sarr? You can't sell him. He's been instrumental. Do you know what I mean? There's no one.
Savva, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Just like the club hasn't got the bollocks to have a proper youth pathway, the fan base hasn't got the bollocks just let a manager get on with it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Just
let De Zerbi get on with it and judge him in 3 years' time. But no, why have you let Vuskovic go? Bergvall's got to stay. But these are the same players everyone was cussing last year for letting us down.
Yeah, I said on Sean's show, I cannot wait for the first time I can turn all my hatred or whatever you want to call towards the manager. I would love to be able to, at the end of the season, to say, you know what, De Zerbi, you was given Tonali, Fernandes, Savio, Ollie Watkins, whoever. You've been given all those players and you finished 10th. Now you need to get out of my club. You've been backed. You've had everything you wanted and you have failed. I would love the opportunity to have that. Now we're getting it. I can't really complain. It seems like De Zerbi, I want him, got him. I want him, got him. I want him, got him. But that's exactly what I wanted. But you are now starting to see people say, never give full control to a manager. Yeah, but yeah, for the last 10 years, we've been saying, back the manager. All right, well, we're backing the manager.
Yeah.
Well, now we shouldn't really be fully backing a manager, because what happens in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time? What do you want then?
But don't you feel, James, so many people seem so invested in individual players rather than the betterment of Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
Like, so many debates I see online are about players that you sit there and you go, like, I feel like sometimes I should be watching. I remember back in the day, I don't know if you boys remember this, like, then we'd have rows, not us, but it'd be like, I want Defoe to start today. I want Keane to start today. You had a proper row about two quality strikers as to which one should start, right? And it didn't really matter because they were both quality. Now I'm seeing rows like, oh, no, we should keep Lancashire. No, we should definitely keep Tock. And you're like, what are we doing? Like, what is it that we want Tottenham Hotspur to be? I've no idea. And that is why I don't do this whole pre-season thing. I find hilarious how whoever has a decent game in pre-season is then the favourite player for 4 or 5 days. Tock the other day, he played against MK Dons and Auckland, right? And this Tock, and you're like, are we really? Is this what we're doing? Is this what we've got to? So I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, mate. The only thing I can say is fans want to act like a big club until we need to be ruthless and act like a big club. And then they don't want to hear it.
That's where the sentimental side of this fan base comes into it a hell of a lot. Like, why we give, I mean, like what Stel says, like, why the hell is Ben Davies still here? And you'll still have people turn around and say, yeah, but he's good and he's worked hard for us and whatever else. I'm personally one who agrees with Stel that he shouldn't be here. It's just too funny to watch Stel have a meltdown over it. But he's right on what he's saying, basically. Like, why the hell is Ben Davies still here, for fuck's sake?
I think that's why he's still here, because they've watched them. And they just, fuck this guy.
Like other things as well.
Yeah, he's not allowed to be happy. Don't let him be happy.
A big team. Son would have necessarily been gone 2 years earlier, why he was slowly starting to come off his peak, why we could have still got top cash for him and gone and replaced a player of the same standards, basically. We don't do that. And it's happened with many other players, like youth players as well. We've held on to them too long where we have to basically give them away when maybe we could have sold them for 5 or even 5 million or whatever a year or so before. We do love to hang on to players at Spurs on the sentimental side.
When you're a big club, for me, one of the most underrated and the best wingers I've ever seen in the Premier League is Riyad Mahrez. Unbelievable football player for me, personally. I didn't see any City fan cry when they sold him. I bought in Doku, Ryan Cherky, Savva. I didn't see it. It's just like, this is what happens. He goes, we get big money, we reinvest. We don't do that. Son was here for 10 years. And for me, the last 2 years, he's always going to get you GA. But the tracking back wasn't there. The movement wasn't there. He lost the yard of pace. And it's like, you're the victim. Now he's gone and we haven't got our GA. It's all your fault. Well, what we should have done is sold him and brought in a Rashford. You replaced the goals, younger, quicker, faster, on you go again. But we haven't. And that's why, or in my opinion, that is the only reason why people are talking about the academy, because we've been deprived for so long of the first team.
I think the interesting thing, like when you think, I do think we think far too much about things like Ben Davies. Like for, I think Ben Davies, should have gone years ago, but that ship has sailed. Should have gone years ago. He's not staying now because he's going to be a first team player. I think he's staying because he's going to be a coach next year, and he probably just wants some cover for this year, just in case we have a bad injury. And then I think he'll move into that. I think the bigger issue for me more than anything is, I think that we always pretend we know what a player is like personality wise. So, like for example, like with the Andy Robertson thing, everyone who's coming out of Tottenham saying what a breath of fresh air he is to have around the place. He's bringing that level of winning to the to the club. He's bringing that level of that aura. But we as fans go, he's shit. He shouldn't be at Tottenham. And I think sometimes we have to trust the manager a little bit. If we want De Zerbi to be the guy, I think we've got to trust that he knows why he's brought in that type of player, right? We're not going to have a squad of 22 world beaters. We're not. We don't even have an 11. We don't even have a good 11 right now. So I do think we worry about a lot of things that we shouldn't. That's only my opinion.
It's the mentality of the fans that they want instantaneous change, right? They want to go from 17th to being at the same table as Arsenal. Like, it doesn't work that quickly. Like,
but still want to be Man United of 95, basically, with a youth team. Players in there, so it all looks pretty.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Tottenham, if they want to get to the levels of where Arsenal are currently right now, is one of the best teams in Europe, then it's going to take time to build a squad full of, like you've got, like De Zerbi's mentioned a few times, he wants 2 quality players in each position eventually. That's the end goal, right? Which is essentially what Arsenal did, right? That's how they went and won a Premier League. So we can't go from 17th to first place in an instant. So I think it's just, people just want it. People just want the quick hit of, I need it now, I need it now, I need it now, I want it now, I want to see it now. But it doesn't work like that in real life.
Danny, can I give you an example? Just before we wrap up the stream, give you an example, right? As football fans, we sit there and we go, Jordan Henderson should never have gone to the World Cup, right? Most football fans will say, I would never have picked Jordan Henderson to go to the World Cup. And I get it, right? If you're picking the better players, you wouldn't. But you listen to all those England players when they're being interviewed, they all talk about how important it was for them to have Jordan Henderson there. They all talk about he's the one they go to with problems. He's the one that fixes things with the manager. He's the one that gives them advice what to do for transfers. They all talk about it. And I think this is sometimes where we forget that it's not always just about who is an amazing player. Sometimes you need to have those people around a business, a company, a football club. And that's what I think they brought in Andy Robertson for, who, by the way, I think is massively underrated. I saw more in half an hour of Andy Robertson.
I think he's better than what we got.
Agree. Much better.
Than I have any left back for Spurs for years. But I do think there is that element of it. And these people, the Wengers, the Mourinhos, they've always had winners around the place. They always keep some senior players. And Spurs haven't got that. So I think having an Andy Robertson is it's a good thing for Tottenham. It doesn't mean he needs to be the guy for the next 4 years, but that's where we should now be looking at the succession plan. Andy Robertson comes in for this year, 18 months, 2 years. Right. Who's going in behind him? Is it Sosa that's going to be developed to be that? Is it Mason King? Is it Adogi's going to go out on loan and come back and be that? I just think sometimes we don't stop and think enough about some of the more human elements of the football stuff. And I found it really interesting when all the England players were saying about Jordan Henderson is the man to go to. He is the man with every problem. Just food for thought. Just food for thought. Not saying I would have taken him. Not saying he should have been there. I just thought it was interesting. And Bellingham came out and said it more than anyone.
I think that's why Ben Davies is here, because he's a very experienced player. He's a winner. He's got a Europa League's medal. I mean, that's perfect still, don't you think?
If that's your attempt to bait me, that was really bad.
No, I'm just saying that he's experienced. He's a winner, right?
Listen, keep him. I hope he plays and he shows us how fantastic he is.
He's not going to be playing, guys. I think we all know Davis is not going to be.
Davis
is. Look. We play once a week. You've got to remember, we're seeing him in pre-season because all of our defenders aren't there. Like no one's there, right? Like there's no Romero, no Van de Ven, no Senesi, no Danso, no Van Hecker, no Adogi, no Robertson's just come back. I think that's the only reason Davis is there. I don't think.
I know you want to like wrap up and stuff, and I got to go as well. But we all seen that Inter have just pulled out on the Romero fit.
Have they? I didn't think they'd go for him anyway. Price.
Yeah. So
apparently they were close on the price, Dan, but then they got John Stones on a free.
Oh, what was it actually? John Stones they got? I haven't checked. I just knew they.
They signed John Stones.
Yeah,
and what's his face has just signed a new contract. Bissek has just signed a new contract, but let's see what happens with that guy. Maybe off to the Arsenal. Let me do a few super chats. Then I'm going to send you over to Tottenham Touchline, Lubo's new channel. Him, Ferg, and the boys. Big up to Phil Coys. Said mindset is still the same. No need to panic. Phil, if you're still there, I don't think it's about panic. I think we just need forwards in. When I hear this every window, no need to panic. I heard this all last summer. We didn't do what we needed then either. So for me, just no panic. Just get it done. Big up to you, my man. Big up to Tony, who said, so why can't we buy fucking attackers? Just saying, I know, mate. It's mad. We are so bad at buying forwards. Let's hope they prove me wrong in the next week. But big up to you. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate you, my man. Big up to Andy Lester. Thank you very much. Said, I can see us playing 2 10s and 2 up top. Maybe a big man, little man. That's where KROUPI came in. Now maybe go Torres. Good to see you live, mate. Big up to you, man. Listen, I don't know what we're doing. I have no idea because we've not bought him forwards to see what De Zerbi wants to do, right? So I don't know, mate. I just hope it's not this front three. I cannot start the season with Tell, Solomon and Richie. I just can't. It will kill my dream of this season. Big up to you. Big up to Steve. How you doing, my man? Says, good to see you back, Savva. I hope the job is going okay. Yes, the job is keeping me very busy. Hence my first show in 10 days. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Steve. Big up to Carl. So what's your top 4? It will be in no particular order. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Maybe Chelsea. I think they're going along just nicely. Chelsea. I think they're going along just nicely with their signings, in my opinion, and they're playing once a week. Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer behind Pedro. Pretty tasty with Caicedo and Enzo in the middle. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, definitely not us at the moment. Big up to you. Big up to the penultimate chat, whole Spurs. Big up to you. So just in from Graft, you look like Santa has not bought you no presents. Got a few in my bag. Come on, you Spurs. Laugh out loud. Could have been in the championship. Yeah, still wanted that, didn't he? Never let him forget. Never let him forget. Big up to you, whole Spurs. And again, whole Spurs, thank you for coming in with just the super sticker. Thank you very much. Really appreciate all of you. Stel, Dan, James, Danny, thank you very much, guys. Let's see what happens. Is it going to be Hugo Thiago? Is it Ollie Watkins? Is it Gakpo? All I know is if they've got a list, can we start bidding for some of the people on this list? we probably get forwards in, but it is what it is. Guys, thanks very much. Take care. And when you get over to Tottenham Touchline, just say Savva raid or FHTV raid or don't. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.